We are Brap, we are live, and we love gaming. We have a great show for you guys tonight. We're going to talk about the Xbox game, or Xbox, I almost called it Game Pass, the Xbox game
You
show.
wouldn't be wrong.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't.
Yeah,
be
I
wrong.
wouldn't be wrong, actually, because it was like a game, like Lucas, oh my God, icon with the Bucks. All right, let's go live, guys. We got a great show. We're going to do an Xbox giveaway, so let's get into it. We are live. Welcome back, everyone, to another Brap. We truly have a great show in store for everyone. We have some returning guests this evening, and as always, the gracious of the great Brap panel. And look, this is going to be a fun show. Lot to discuss as it relates to Xbox. And let's get to the intros first. I want to introduce Luca, the Action Luca, is joining us this evening. Luca, welcome back to Brap.
Hey, yo, Team Xbox, baby. Xbox is the best box, baby. Xbox for life, baby. Yeah. Woo, Xbox. Yeah. Luca here.
She started, listen, for people that don't know, she started this early in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. I get a DM from, I was like, Luca in rare form at 8 o'clock in the morning about Xbox.
Luca,
Xbox, baby.
your Buck Snacks avatar is hilarious.
It's fucking hilarious, dude. Like, Gregor did it for me, so shout out to Gregor.
Everybody needs to get a Buck Snacks one now.
Yeah, big shout out to Gregor Valdoom. And we also have another returning guest. We have Mooch joining us. Mooch, what's going on, man? Welcome back to Brap.
What's up, buddy? It's hard to, after Luke makes that entrance, it's just hard to top that, I gotta be honest with you. But tonight's gonna be absolutely amazing. There's a lot to talk about. And I think that, you know, there's just mixed emotions out there on the internet. So I'm gonna be really interested to see how this panel kind of takes what we saw, absorb it, and how we kind of regurgitate it back out. It's gonna be a really great show, buddy. Good to be here tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have Gaming Forte, or as he's known tonight, Forte 117. What's up, Forte?
What's up, man? So my excitement level is nowhere near what my excitement level was 10 hours ago, but we're going to talk about it. Let's go.
All right, no doubt, man. We also have mid-tier Eric J. I don't know what the mid-tier stands for, but welcome back, EJ.
What's going on? What's going on? I'm mid-tier, like, you know, like Grounded. I love the fact that in that whole thing, Grounded came in and let you know, yo, we're mid-tier and we're owning it.
That is true. They said
They
like
said
how
they
they-
were close to the ground, baby. Okay.
I respect it.
They basically, yeah, they basically told you to say if you wanna wait for a bigger game, wait for Cyberpunk.
that was actually
And then they said if you want to get a smaller game, get Grounded because they're small, baby. Okay, they knew what they were doing.
They knew what they was doing.
And then they say something to the effect of like, we're Obsidian and we don't usually do games like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was down with that. But so did anybody here not sleep last night? Because I saw people tweeting that like legit can't sleep.
no.
I slept well.
I slept very well. I crashed.
Yeah, I slept very well. Yeah, I wasn't.
I ain't sleep. But I kept waking up in the middle of the night.
You've been doing videos though, man. So
Well, yeah, that too.
yeah.
All right, cool. And we also have B Buddy. B Money, what's up, man? Welcome back to Brap, sir. Good to see you.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm glad to be here. It's a great Thursday night. Lots to talk about. The NBA is also back today, so
Yes.
I'm super excited, man.
And
B,
baseball.
I want to ask you about that really quick, B, because it's supposed to be like the bubble. It's supposed to be safe from COVID and everything, right?
Right.
So they run up and down the court, fouling, falling over each other, but they're socially distanced on the bench.
That's right. It makes no damn sense.
Everybody in that
Shout out
must
to the
supposed to
NBA,
be
man.
right. They all
Well,
supposed to be
Eric,
clean.
the sweat on the court doesn't count. That's where COVID says, you know what? I want you guys to have fun. So I'm just not going to affect anyone while you're out there on the basketball court.
So I'm gonna just confirm that COVID is actually a germaphobe.
Right.
Sweat, ew.
So basically, full contact on the court.
Yeah.
But when you have to sit down on the bench, you better social distance and wearing your mask, basically, or else you get a fine from the NBA commissioner.
pretty much.
Right. That's right.
Makes let me tell you, it makes a ton of sense. So
Mhm.
yeah. On that note, we have resting brute face slow-mo back slap. Slow-mo, man, what's going on?
Ugh, we're angry, Brute here, upset at my Xbox 360 level textures on my face. Not happy.
Extra artist was working from home, but nobody could reach him.
Working from home.
Everyone picking on me on Twitter.
Why? He like,
Why
boy,
do you
Slow-mo,
sound
why
like
was Slow-mo, why was your slow-mo? Why was your teeth so clean and your face so not finished? I was like that Brute got some really good dental plan.
yeah, the pearly whites?
Look,
Oh,
I needed like 6 more hours in the makeup booth, and they just said no, we gotta get this trail out real fast. So
Yeah.
I would love to be in that meeting. Hey guys, we got to make sure the Brute's teeth are stellar. Come on, they got to be pristine white teeth. We can't skip out the teeth this time.
but sir, I only spent 5 minutes on the textures on his face. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Get it done.
Slow-mo, why did your impersonation of the Brute? You sounded like you were the voice actor Ghost of Tsushima, doing the English voiceover, man.
I don't know. That's what they sound like to me.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what
pretty
it sounds
sure
like.
if you play the game, they don't sound exactly like that. That's the best I could do. But
Slow-mo.
yeah,
They didn't,
All
I
right.
feel bad for that
They-
Brute, man. That,
well, they
that
didn't
Brute
give you the
right now,
memo,
he's
did
having
they,
a rough
Slow-mo?
day.
They didn't give you the memo when you went up there and said that they're gonna give you a real big close up.
The guy's having a rough day. He's just all over Twitter, man. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly.
Not camera ready.
Now you guys make the Brute sound like he's Grimlock for Transformers.
Oh shit!
Jeez. All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, real quick, want to give a big shout out to the live chat. I see some friendly faces here in the live chat, or I should say familiar faces. Punk Kiddish is in the house. Dude, we gotta get some Warzone in with Punk.
Yes, we do, buddy. I'm already jonesing for Warzone. It's been too long.
Yeah, I think it's been a week since we hopped on, right?
A little less, but nonetheless, feels like a week. Feels like a month.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right, everyone in the live chat, please retweet the link, which I'll drop here as well. And remember, we're going to be doing an Xbox giveaway in celebration, as Luca called it, of Team Xbox.
Team Xbox,
So-
baby.
All right, guys. So let's get into the topics here. The much highly anticipated Xbox game showcase happened today. And look, this thing was hyped, I would say, right? There's a lot of hype behind this, a lot of excitement. I know we talked about this last week here on BRAP. You know, we knew about Halo Infinite. We assumed that we're going to show Fable, which they did. They didn't show Perfect Dark, which was kind of a little bit disappointing for me. But anyhow, but a lot of hype going into the show. You know, we talked. You know, the June event kind of came and went. It was and you know, I don't know. I was, you know, we talk about tempering expectations, right, Mooch? I know we talked a lot about this in Crossfire, sir. And so I didn't temper my expectations this time. And in some ways, I feel like maybe I should have.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of amazing conversations with people over the past week, and you know, a lot of people say, you know, what should we expect when we kind of go into it? And it's not that I know, but you've seen so many E3s, right? And it's like I don't want to use the words temper your expectations or lower your expectations. It's just that Xbox is going to put out what Xbox puts out. And I mean, there was a lot of years where I was overly hyped and I said, okay, I knew what I was going to walk into, or I thought I knew I was going to walk into, and I left disappointed. And that's why when people say, well, Mooch, what'd you think of this show? And my answer is this show was good. It wasn't great. It was just good. And, you know, the thing about it is that this is where Xbox is going. And before we get into the play-by-play of each of the games, you've got to kind of look at where Xbox's direction is. And there's nothing hidden here. There's no hidden agenda. Like, they're doing everything as games as a service. They want to prolong each game as long as they can to keep you enlisted in the service of Game Pass. Their interest moving forward is Game Pass and xCloud. And the games have to cater to those services. You know, that's why when everybody says, well, Phil saved Xbox, again, I say this all the time. he, in a sense, he did, but he did it at a cost. And the cost was Satya Nadella said, you will use Azure, you will make it so that you use our services, or this branch really just doesn't need to exist with where we're going forward. So this is a very simple problem, actually, when he sat down probably with some of the heads of his game developers and said, how do we make it so we keep people coming back? These games already exist out there on PC. There's games like WoW, right? There's no WoW 2. There's no World of Warcraft 3.5 coming out.
Nope. No,
right?
there's not.
It's just
Yeah.
add to it, get people hooked. And then that's the lure. The other lure they've done is they did the dollar deal for a year, okay? And this may not affect everybody listening to the show, but when you turn your Xbox on and for $1 they matched your gold, and whether that was for a year, 2 years, or 3 years, that's independent to each different gamer. And you saw 100 different games. They're hoping that it's hard for you when one day your subscription runs out, that you turn it on. And you went from 100 games to 0. You're like, I kind of need those. Think about it. There's 100 times in 1 week that I sit there and I go, I've watched all the Ozarks. There's no Stranger Things. I'm like, we're getting rid of Netflix. 10 days later, I'm like, we're getting rid of Netflix. But I don't, right? Because you're used to having an unlimited sum of things you actually don't want to watch, but they're at your access. So my point being is that this is what they're trying to do with Game Pass. And I think that you're starting to see the truth kind of come out in their games. And I'm not saying they're bad. If you enjoy them, good for you. I'm not going to bash them. All I'm going to say is you can see where their games are heading, how they're being developed, and what kind of customer they're going for. And you can see that Sony is going in an absolutely different direction. They're staying more traditional. They're making blockbuster games that you play on your 4K TV, and Microsoft is going to play games that are good on your tablet or phone. And that's the way, that the direction they want it to go on. It doesn't mean you can't play on your TV. It doesn't mean you of course they give you the option, right? It's a generation of options. You do whatever you want. You can drive down the street with your car windows down and your air conditioning blasting while you're having an ice cream. You can do whatever you want. But the point of the matter is these games are built to be able to play on your tablet and on your xCloud and wherever you go. That's why Phil keeps saying it in that fashion. So when I saw these games all coming the way that they're coming, right? So Forza is no longer called Forza 8. And Halo's not going to be, we already know, Halo's not going to have a Halo Infinite 2. Because they're just going to keep adding and adding and adding to it and keep you hooked into the service. That's what they want to do. And they're not the only ones, but I'm saying that's a clear path and plan. And today's show that we saw, today's presentation, proved it more than any words could ever tell.
Yeah, that's well said. Real quick, I got to get the super chats here. Marty Bison with the $5 super chat says, hello, panel.
Great, Marty.
Super chat. Yeah, great to see you, Marty. And Marty, we got to get some Warzone going too, man.
Yes, we do.
I think there was one more super chat's not popping up here. Hold on a sec here, because I think I just missed it.
Talk about Everborn.
Yeah, Everborn
Yeah.
Saga with the $5 super chat says, I noticed a lot of the 60 frames per second warriors who were crying frames per second over fidelity now that they get a locked 60 frames per second with Halo, and they're crying about fidelity.
Yeah, but weren't these eat monsters for breakfast as a monster, monster mash, whatever you want to call it, the marketing. Didn't they say it could do both?
Blah, blah.
Like I can understand that for current gen, but for next gen, we were supposed to get the fidelity and the frame rate.
Yeah.
That's what I was told was supposed to happen. I guess the guys just stay on PC to get that, right? All right.
Oh, you PC elitist. You disgust me.
Look, I'll say this about PC, Luca. Xbox further sold me and why I'm staying on PC and why I don't need a Series X right now. I mean, Slobo and I have been basking in our next gen, and you too, Booch. We've been basking, and now Forte, because he's got a 2080 Super. We've been basking in our next gen.
Whoa. Go ahead, finish your
Go
soliloquy.
ahead and partition your drives.
Go ahead and finish your soliloquy
or
before I
whatever,
bury
man.
you.
I got Xbox all day, every day, baby. Okay.
I'm gonna have that stuck in my head now. Team Xbox, baby. No, I mean, look, we've been basking in our we've been joking about this for a while now. Like Slomo and I have been, that we have next gen Xboxes already. We've had them for the last year or so. But no, I think, Mooch, to your point about them going in that services direction, it's something that we talked about. It's funny. Eric and I were talking about this I think last week, where we said, I think it was like 4 years ago on the show, Eric, right? You might remember this, B Money. We said that this was the direction they're going to go. And we said that Microsoft's always kind of good at kind of being ahead of the puck, I think is what you referred to, Eric. Or knowing where the puck's going. I forget what, how what you said, but
it wasn't mine. That was what Wayne Gretzky's father would always tell him is don't go where the puck is, go where it's going to be.
Yep.
Okay, got you. Perfect. So, look, I'll say this. This was very much Game Pass focused. I will say this. I did like the pre-show with Jeff Keighley. I thought there were some cool announcements there. One of the bigger announcements that I thought was a big get for Game Pass was Dragon Quest. I mean, that to me is a big pickup for Microsoft. Adds a lot of variety to the catalog or offering of Game Pass. I think that if there's any strength to the show overall, I think it's the variety and options they're giving people to Game Pass. But this show was all about Game Pass and not necessarily about the console. But
that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, they announced that every game that was shown in the pre-show and in the show were going to Game Pass at 100%.
Yeah, and you know what? I do want to interject real quick. Destiny 2 and all of its expansions going to Game Pass, that is a huge get. That is huge.
Yeah.
That cannot be understated.
As well as the future expansion that's coming out in November is going in there as well. That's a huge.
It's huge. That is a huge get.
Also, something to note that's not for the Xbox. No, I'm sorry, the PC Game Pass. PC Game Pass doesn't get that.
We're still
only
PC Game Pass doesn't get it. Interesting.
Yeah, we
it's
still
almost
get
like
chat
Xbox is better, baby. You know?
No.
we still get no love on the PC side of things on occasion, but we do get games that you guys don't have on Xbox, like Gears Tactics.
No,
and
that's
things
true.
like
You're
that.
right.
But I gotta get the super chat.
That'll be on console soon too, though.
Yeah. One typical Latino with the $2 super chat says, so no mention of free Xbox Live. Oh, well, that was something that was speculated, I think, on Crossfire last week. I think Jeff Grubb had mentioned that that might be something that's coming down the pipeline for Microsoft.
Well, that would fall into services. And they said today is games.
This is true. They did say that games, and more games.
And
to
commend them,
games
that's what
at
they
the beginning
did.
of the generation too.
Yeah. Luca, I'm going to ask you a question, Luca. So I think you were probably, I would imagine that you and Forte were thought that the Destiny announcement was just super huge for Game Pass, which I would agree that it was.
It is, yeah.
I think that one announcement led to Forte giving the show a 9 out of 10.
Sure did.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't have scored it that high, but that's me. That's okay. Luca, what were some of the bright spots of the show for you?
Well, I do have to say I do commend them for actually going through with what they promised. They said they were just going to show games, and that's exactly what they did. There was minimal talking, and I appreciate that. They showed some new things that we were not expecting, like that State of Decay 3, The Avowed. There was something else. Oh, people have been speculating about Fable for years now, so that as well. So, I do commend them for that. Me personally, I gave the show a 7.5 out of 10 because it didn't really have any wow factor for me. It was a good show, but it came off as underwhelming for me. And I do think it's unfortunate given the way that they had been hyping it up, especially since Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, Aaron Greenberg, they've all come out several times and stated, we've got more, guys. And I'm just like, when are you going to show us what you have if you have more? You've been saying this for years now. I'm getting tired of it. It's exactly what Phil Spencer stated after E3 last year. It's like, yeah, we've had more stuff to show. We had our big guns, but we just didn't want to show it during our biggest gaming announcement. And then the same thing here. It's like after the show, Matt Booty and Aaron Greenberg, oh, we still got things to show. And I'm just like, but why won't you just show it now? I'm not really listen. I do think it's cool. We have gaming events to look forward to every few weeks. That's cool. But at the same time, I'm not really a huge fan of these smaller events where it's like we get piecemeal and it's just nothing. I mean, it was something, but it just wasn't anything, I guess, is how I feel about it. So.
Yeah,
it also doesn't help that we got like this tit for tat between Microsoft and Sony, where they're intentionally holding stuff back because they know the other person still has something to show. And I agree with Luca. If we still had E3, they just would have showed us everything in like early part of June, and we would just already understand what both consoles have in store, the prices, all the games, yada yada yada, and there wouldn't be any holding back. But like, I mean, we don't know prices. Everyone's just like waiting for the other person to blink before they do it. Oh, hey, look, let's hold back 2 more games. I heard they're going to drop a game next month. It's just like, damn, just show what you got. Please.
You know, and I get the back and forth. You know, Luca kind of put it best right there. And Slow-Mo, you're backing it up perfectly. I mean, we at this point, with Xbox not having any really new games this entire generation, well, since when? 2016? When did Sea of Thieves come out? Their newest, that was their newest AAA, right? In 2016, 2017, 2017. Right, so since 2017, nothing new. Like you're saying, show all your cards. Like, it doesn't matter if Sony shows something next. Okay, so the rumor is Sony held 2 or 3 games that they're going to show next month, right? Who cares?
Yeah, 2 games, yeah.
If Xbox could blow our doors off right now, it should carry right into the 2 IPs or whatever Sony's going to do next month. Right now, Xbox really, everyone had said to me, even in the Xbox camp that I talked to, they said, listen, this July event has got to show it all. This is them saying it. I didn't say it. Got to show us it all. It's got to put it out there, put the cards on the table. Let's see what you got, because next gen's November, right? It's not like a year from now. It's around the corner. So what are you holding back? No, we're going to win. We got more bullets in the chamber. Stop it. Just stop it.
Mooch, they do this every time. Where it's gotten to the point now where the running joke is, we'll wait till next E3, right?
Yeah,
and the running joke for like 5 years, man.
No, it is. It's just, it's almost predictable. Like Eric yesterday in the DM said something. I forgot what Eric, you said something to the effect that, if they say that's going to be like the best show ever, we know that.
I've said over like the last couple of weeks, I said, if we go into this show and neither Phil nor Aaron say anything and just let the show do its talking, it's going to be on point. That's how I seriously felt about that. And then what was it right before?
They did the opposite.
Yeah, right before. I mean, Phil had been talking all week, and then he said something, I think, yesterday too. And then Aaron jumped out there. I'm like, yep. Yeah. It's like it's almost like they get bubble gut, like right before the show happens. It's like, ooh, we gotta engage.
I gotta go to the bathroom. No, so Eric, so what were your impressions, man? Do you kind of agree with what Luca and Mooch have said so far about the overall show?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I see people going back and forth, like on Twitter or whatever. And the thing is, it was a good show, but we've had shows all throughout like the year because of, obviously the situation that we're in, right? So it was a show, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, the expectation was there because you have, like Mooch said, you haven't really hit anybody with anything in a while, and then you're talking about this monster and this beast that we're going to be going into. And I don't know, just over the last few weeks, like just up and down with like the messaging, like Phil's been throwing out there and everything else.
It's very confusing.
What are you guys talking about? You're talking.
We saw that today, Eric. We saw that today too. We saw examples of that up and down messaging where there's a couple games that we see that are Xbox Series X PC only.
It's just, I don't know. It's just weird talk too, because then they're leaning into like statements that are very odd for companies to make. Like, we're not going to force you to upgrade. It's like, we're going. Are these a console generations? Or are they not a console generation? If you're going to treat it like, if you're going to treat it like a phone, we're going to say, hey, we're going to add a couple things, and you make the decision whether you want to get it or not. But
Eric, I just want to, before I lose this, and I don't mean to interrupt, man. I just want to say something about forcing. This whole forcing argument, like, really, you can't force someone to buy something they're not interested in to begin with. Like the whole argument over Spider-Man Miles Morales. Oh, Sony's forced you. No, that game is meant for the people who own the PlayStation 4 console. Those people are interested in that brand.
$500 gatekeeping, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
You know what I mean? Like, it's maddening. I'm like, since when has a console become a paywall? It's the most ridiculous argument I've ever heard. Like, clearly, Sony is marketing that product for people who are already PlayStation 4 owners, the early adopters. I mean, those people are going to willingly go out and spend $500 for a PlayStation 5 to play Miles Morales Spider-Man. And guess what? Yeah. If you're the one on the other side saying, oh, that's anti-consumer, you are not the target audience. You're not.
Sony knows, Brap, they know that when the original Spider-Man came out, I believe that
I'm yelling,
they broke. You should be. They broke records. They broke records in selling PlayStation 4s with that Spider-Man PS4, and you know, this is the thing. It's a no-brainer, right? All of a sudden, you have the Miles Morales game coming out. They're going to sell like hotcakes just because of that game. That's exactly what you just said. Not to mention they have Godfall. Not to mention, and these are doesn't matter. Timed exclusives still work for you when the time is on your clock. Okay, they've got Godfall. They've got Demon Souls. Like every Souls fan is buying a PS5.
This is a fact.
It's just the way it is. It's the
Dark
way
Souls,
it is.
baby.
Like, let me tell you something. I've been playing Bloodborne and streaming it. First of all, Bloodborne's amazing. Second of all, the fact of the matter is, what an unbelievable community there is behind the Soul series. What an allegiance that I have found in the past month and a half, 2 months. Unbelievable allegiance. They are going to buy that console for Demon Souls. If they weren't going to buy it for Miles Morales, they're buying it for Demon Souls.
And if I could interject real quick, I used to listen to a Dark Souls podcast, and the two hosts of the shows would have several people on to speak about different areas in Bloodborne or Dark Souls, depending on whatever game they're going through. And these were PC guys who specifically stated, "I'm buying a PlayStation 4 for Bloodborne." And that's just how it is. The Souls fandom will pick up a PlayStation 5 for Demon Souls. It's just what it is, you know? So
yeah, and I actually want to go like Kendrick Star said, there's nothing about Spider-Man that can be done on a PS4. Let's go back, let's roll it back to a minute, the Shadow of Mordor, when that game dropped. They had a version for 360, they had a version for the PS4 and Xbox One. What did the one on 360 not be able to do? The Nemesis system. So they had something that could work here but couldn't work there. So again, we got to stop this thing where we're like, we are sitting here saying, well, this could be on PS4 because there was a Spider-Man game there. We don't know what they're doing to this game that says it can't run on this. You know, and it's like we keep jumping into this thing where we're defending like these multi-billion-dollar companies and saying and putting up all these like, you know, these unreachable, unattainable things to make us feel better over here.
Yeah, and I mean, there was nothing more relevant than what we saw with Halo Infinite. Listen, so we had all week we had the hype for Halo, and I'm not going to lie to you, man. I started the Halo 3 campaign again. I'm like, you know what? I got Halo fever, so I'm like, let me get into it, right? And I'm playing, I'm enjoying it, and you know, all of a sudden, and then you hear Jeff Keighley. Jeff Keighley's every other word out of his mouth in the pre-show was Halo, 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 low, hey. Okay, so like, right, we're doing everything. We're going back, we're going forwards, we're backwards. I'm like, this must be something. These guys must have saw a sneak peek. This has got to be something that's going to blow our doors off. And then when we watch it, don't get me wrong. I'm sure we're all going to play Halo Infinite. I'm pretty sure we're all going to enjoy it. Yeah. But from what I saw,
I hope we enjoy it because I mean, again, I don't think we saw enough for me to step out and say this is going to be infinitely better than Halo 5.
That's the thing. And a lot of people keep thinking that because when Halo 5 ended, that 343 has been working on this game for 5 years. That's not the truth, right? We found out that they had the new engine, and they've only really been working on this thing for maybe 2-3 years, not 5. And with the new engine, they're getting, you know, it's just, and I'm not a developer. I don't know. All I'm telling you, from what I saw, it looked like a 4K version of what we've always been playing. I didn't see anything that made me go, that's next gen. That was me. And I mean, if you guys saw something, I would love to be in love. I mean that.
I'm with you because, like, when they stated, "Hey, this was built from the ground up with our new engine for the Series X," I was like, really?
Yeah. I kind of said the same thing because I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, it looks, you know, slow mo. We're going to get into this, but I said, okay, it looks better than the last game that you did, you know, in ways. But again, I'm gonna throw it out there. And does it look infinitely better?
Exactly.
Than what you already have out there. And that's the thing. It's like. It should. This is your biggest franchise, arguably your biggest franchise outside of Gears. Nobody should be on Twitter right now going back and forth making concessions over this game, or saying, well, because right now, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I'm getting a Crackdown 3 vibe from the fan base in this thing. Well, because I feel like we're about to go into this thing where, well, it looks more like Crackdown 1, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, it's going back to Master Chief, and it looks like more. It looks like the Halo that we're used to. That, and I'm okay with that. And it's like, but see, that's the thing. This is the argument that we used to get into. And it's like, Halo needs to do something to move forward, right? But we don't know what that is because again, they didn't really show anything outside of what we've ever seen with this thing.
But though I do want to be fair, you know, the stream was in 1080 60, and also it's like maybe it will look infinitely better on the
Doesn't-
Series X when when it's actually like in our homes, staring at it on our 4K TVs, baby, HDR enabled, baby.
And the thing is, Luca, I'm not even talking about just
don't
the
know
look.
about that
I'm
one.
not even talking just the look of it. 'Cause I actually saw somebody. I actually saw somebody say that well, Halo was never about graphics.
I saw someone say that, and I'm
I'm like,
Nani?
Yeah, they
What?
done lost their
Like,
mind.
That's not true. And
Yeah.
look, I'm not even
Halo
talking
has
necessarily
always
about.
been among the best looking games on Xbox.
hello.
Always.
Can we say
I'm-
bump mapping? Remember that technique? You guys remember that from the OG Xbox days? Okay, I've dated myself. Anyhow, go ahead.
I'm
You know, I
27.
kind of look at it in terms of it's that thing where, you know, we talked about like around Gears, are you playing it too safe? And you're going back to things that people feel comfortable with because you listen to a specific section of the fan base and not really want to like upset anybody or go too far with something. So hey, maybe and we talked about this in our DM the other day. Maybe you just get comfortable and you say, well, we'll just do a reimagining for now of, you know, Combat Evolved.
I
Because
don't think
honestly,
we saw enough to like
That's-
definitively state
but that's what
that,
I'm saying,
you know?
Luca. Like this
Yeah.
was your moment. You've been talking Halo for nonstop. Whatever you should have come out the gate showing.
They should have been
How
showing
showing
it
that
different
true.
it is itself
Yeah.
from every other Halo.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, you're right.
that's
Yeah.
my whole point. It's like we are months away from the release of this console. That's supposed to go. This game's supposed to go day and date with this console. Now is your time to say we're kicking the doors off this bitch.
Yeah.
And when you walk away, you're gonna be. You're just gonna be screaming
Well, you know,
Halo's back, baby.
You know what? Let me answer what Luca made a good point. I went back and watched it in 4K afterwards, and so
I did too.
he made a good point when he said to Luca, "Well, hold on a second. That's not necessarily all of it because here's the situation here. It's what in Optimus Code said this best. So I'm really kind of paraphrasing Code here." But he said it's not a matter of saying that we can't get the textures or the resolution up. That's something that can be scaled. But when you look at it, even when you see the clip that Xbox is promoting, where it's Chief going up on the elevator and looking out, there's nothing out there. There's a couple of trees, a couple of hills. There's nothing populating the world. It still looks like a last gen game from the environment. I'm not saying that's what
Yeah.
it'll be later on. We don't know. But I'm saying that's what when Coded said things are held back, he goes, they're not held back as far as 4K resolution or frame rate. He goes, it's held back before they even start development. It's when they're planning it. So that's the thing, because they have to talk about the least common denominator, right? So
Oh, you're
the
right.
fact, right? And that's the thing. So when I was looking at this, yes, I thought the grass looked great. Things were moving. I did notice the gun mechanics looked a lot more crisp. I enjoyed that. But then I'm looking around and I'm like, there's an enemy there.
Character textures,
Eight-
baby.
Right, then 18 feet to the left, there's another enemy. Then another 18 feet over, there's another enemy. I'm like, this is just like, I just got done playing Halo 3, and the enemies are just as sparse in the environment. There's a tree to the left, 18 feet over, there's a tree to the right. It's like, there's nothing really going on. They didn't populate the world. It didn't feel full.
It did seem boring. Yes.
Right. You know what I mean? And
You know,
that's what
we
I
gotta
was
jump-
this populated world. Please go ahead.
You know what it kind of, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but what it kind of looked like to me is when we see people do a fan mod on PC, and then they add something to it to make it look, you know,
Oof.
different. I'm
Did
not
look
saying
like that. No, it did.
It
so.
did
It,
look-
kind of looks like, okay, I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna drop some.
Or they take the
I'm-
hair
I'm
off the brutes to be funny, but
Yeah.
this is the actual game.
I'm gonna drop the. I love the Banished. I'm gonna drop the Banished in here, and I'm gonna play around with it and I'm gonna upload it on YouTube so you guys can check it out. Isn't this cool? That's
Yeah.
kind of what it came off as. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of looks like, you know, Brute Face made his way from the OG Xbox version into this version.
Right. Yeah, look, this game. So, like, when I first originally watched it, and me and Forte was watching it, like, what we were looking at was like the actual gunplay, the gameplay of Halo. Like, it nails that portion of
Right.
it. Like, it looks like Halo, and so I was like, okay, cool, I like that. Then when I after it was done, and you start to think about it a little bit more, and you're just like, you know, did that look better than Guardians? I don't know. Like, why is it that I can't remember if it looks better than Guardians in that? Especially when you start looking at little things like, you know, why is that Marine with Master Chief? Why does his hair look so fake? Yo, why does it look like he's wearing a fake, a fake beard? Why is that one brute Why? I mean, Grant, why are I said it right, Brute? Why are all the brutes hairless? What's happening here? Like, why is that one brute at the end look like something from 360? What's going on? And so I was saying to there, I'm like, look, I'm about to go back to my Xbox, boot up Guardians, and see if Guardians looks better than this. Now, in 4K, on the Xbox One X, Infinite still looks better. But the fact that I had to do that
It's concerning.
is very concerning. It doesn't look that much better. And then I watched the 4K trailer, the 4K 60 trailer that was on YouTube, and it did look like, especially considering the stream wasn't like jerking around and all kind of other issues that was going on with the stream. It looked smoother. But then I started noticing some more problems. As Mooch mentioned on the elevator up, the amount of popping on the elevator up, I'm like, yo, like, I mean, I'm looking at like it was very, very, it's like I wasn't even looking for it.
In.
And and they were just popping in like I don't know. I'm like, I was like, damn, like this is not
for popping in.
this is what you decided to show. Like, this is not ready. This is so then after that, I'm like, all right, I'm really kind of blown by this. Then I start seeing, oh, that wasn't even shown on the Xbox Series X. You didn't need the very little gameplay you showed in this show. You didn't even show it on the Xbox Series X. You showed it on the PC. Not looking good. So all that said, like, I'm still going to play.
You guys are just overly negative, okay?
Why can't you just be happy for other people?
Yeah, why can't you let people enjoy this, Slow-Mo?
Hey, look, I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy it, but I can't. You know, there are people in the chat saying we have side by side. Side by side, Guardians does that look better than Infinite. If you think that, you're a fanboy and you're also an idiot. So congratulations.
Look.
But
you don't have to insult them like that, man. That's rude.
Well, he's insulting other people, so he gets what he gets. So but it still comes down to the fact that you spend all this time on this Slip Space engine, and for what? Because your game doesn't look that much better than the previous game. Like, why? Like, your character models don't look great. What's happening here? The only character that looks great is the Chief. Like, he's the only one that looks like he looks amazing, but everything else around him is like he's next gen and everything else is current gen or last. Like, what's happening here? Like,
he's next gen. Everyone looks like
Chief is optimized for Series X.
Yeah. So
optimized.
How is it that, like, and this is for the Xbox fanboys, since y'all had all that smoke for Spider-Man Miles Morales, how is it that this smaller studio, half the size of 343, that just got purchased by Sony, has ray tracing going to be available on their quote unquote DLC at launch, but this biggest game for Xbox won't have ray tracing at launch with double the studio, double the resources, and been there longer?
Yeah,
there's no excuse.
Quadruple the cash.
Yeah, quadruple the cash.
Hey, but
no ray tracing.
Yeah, Slimmer, real quick. Those are some great points, man. I have heard things that, and you guys have heard this too. There's some challenges that are going on internally at 343 is what I've heard. But I want to go to B Money real quick, man. B, what are your thoughts on Forte, Rope Forte, in, man? What'd you think?
I mean, Halo looked cool. I mean, it wasn't anything impressive. You know what I mean? I watched the original stream with Slow-Mo and Forte. I was in the comment section watching with them, and then I went back and watched the 4K stream, and I mean, it didn't look much different. Of course, it looks better in 4K or whatever, but like just looking at the background and like the landscape or whatever, like none of that stuff like looked improved in my opinion. It just looks more like a continuation of Halo 5. So as far as that is concerned, it's just like, okay, you know, it is what it is. I thought there was other stuff in the show that got me more excited than that.
Yeah, no doubt. Forte, man, what are your thoughts, bro?
Okay, so when we first when I first saw it, I was like excited. I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm talking about. Like Slow-Mo was talking about. We're pretty much just analyzing the gameplay, and we was like, dude, this is what we want.
Yeah.
We want this type of gameplay from Halo. And you kind of like, overlook a lot of things when you're just looking like that hyper focused at that one thing. And I was like, okay. But there were moments during the stream I was like, this doesn't look as good as it can look. And it kind of came out after I went back and looked at, downloading copying the 4K version and looking at it even more closer. And I was like, this game comes out in literally less than 4-5 months, and there's a lot of polish that's definitely a lot of polish that needs to happen in this game to get it to where it needs to be. I'm not 100% down on it like a lot of people, just because like my biggest thing that I care about the most has always been the performance of a game. But I'm with Slow-Mo when it comes to your promotion of what next gen is supposed to be is about the performance of the games, but that don't mean we take a step in the actual fidelity of the game though. Just because Halo is going to be a platform going forward doesn't mean that Halo needs to be relegated to looking bargain bin basement type game, of what the fidelity of the game needs to be. And I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they got enough time to do what they need to do, but this is just one step. This is just another instance where I'm like, I don't trust 343 as far as I can throw them until they prove to me that they can put something out. They got me interested just due to the scope that I'm seeing in the game. I'm seeing a level of ambitiousness that you normally don't see in a Halo game, and that might be by design just because they want to have it as a games as service, but they have to deliver on that. And it's very I'm good. I like what I saw, but there is a lot of things that need to be tightened up significantly before this game releases in the next couple of months. And I wouldn't be surprised if this game doesn't make launch.
I don't think
I have a question real quick, Mooch. What exactly was that bet that you had? Like what's going to outsell something because of Halo?
Well, that's
No, we
already that bet already was lost. Luca, that bet was already
I didn't hear about it, so I'm curious. Okay,
it's lost already. It's lost already. As soon as Sony came out and announced that they doubled their manufacturing of their system and saying that they're going to have double the capacity, that bet was already in the bushes. So
okay.
I have a question though, but what Forte was saying is, first of all, they have, whether Halo Infinite's ready or not, like you were saying, Forte, that game is launching, and let me tell you why.
You're right.
Could you please tell me another first party that's launching?
Grounded?
Mm-hmm.
Did we see anything else that was launching with the Xbox Series X from first party?
Nope.
Right. So guess what? Ready or not,
Party King.
But that shouldn't be the barometer.
You're right, Forte, but you can't launch a box and be like, go home and play last gen's game.
If you at the expense of literally destroying Halo, if you want to do it. I'm sorry, if they release that game in that state, that game's in the bushes forever.
Yeah.
I like your rationale as a boss, Forte. I really do. We all know on this panel that game's coming out in November, right?
Yeah. So, I am very concerned that they can't show Xbox Series X gameplay at this point.
Yeah.
That game comes out in 4 months.
Yeah.
4 months and you can't show any console gameplay.
Yeah.
That's not a good look at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it raises an eyebrow. B, you were to chime in, man?
No, I was just gonna say, man, this is the generation of release it and fix it later. So that game is coming out regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good point, man.
Well, you're right, but they shouldn't.
Yeah,
but,
hey guys,
let me
real quick. Mr. Milker with the $2 super chat says Halo 76 looks very mid. And then we have Glorious War with the $5 super chat. Thank you. Says I think the graphics are simpler, so they can get I can't even read today, damn it. So they can get update quicker, kind of like MMOs and Sea of Thieves.
That's not what people go to Halo for. So that's not.
No, they don't. But you already have people on the timeline saying that this is the direction that they need to go.
The other thing that's just more concerning about it, even other than just that, is the fact that they pretty much came out and said that this is going to be the platform. So who knows? Are we even going to get the full Halo experience at launch? Are you going to have a beginning and end? Are you going to get stories that's going to like trickle out over the course of the time, a la like how Destiny does their game? Are we going to see a beginning and end to this? Like that to me is more troublesome and worrying than the actual, because I think they can fix the overall look of the game, but you can't, once you put out a bad story, you can't recover.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I'm kind of seeing the way too many callbacks. Like if you, all right, I hate to go here, but if you go to the first trailer we saw where the Marine waking the chief up is similar to the Joel guy. It's similar to in Halo Combat Evolved when they woke Chief up out of cryo sleep when the Covenant invaded.
Oh yeah, it's the same guy, isn't it?
Yeah. Then there is the similarities to when you first crash land on the first Halo and Chief is going out and he's taking down certain areas where the Covenant is already embedded, to what we saw today in gameplay where he crash lands on a Halo with that Marine.
Oh shit!
And then
It's a reimagining.
I hate to go there, but that's the way it looks. And I said it, like I said it to you guys in the DM. I don't want that. I don't like those kind of things don't work.
Yeah.
That's like the Force Awakenings of Halo. Like no one wants to play. No one wants to play a game where you
You'll
already
try.
know all the story beats because you played the previous game already, and you already live the experience.
Yeah.
Like that's not cool. Like now, if it was going to be callbacks to certain things like the armor, and then certain parts of Halo similar to other parts, like as far as aesthetic and looks, I was cool with that. But if it's story beats, no, that's not what you should have been doing. Someone should have shut that down in the planning room when they said, "Hey, how about we do this?" And someone should have balled up a paper ball and threw it right at their head and tell them shut up and don't say nothing else for the rest of the meeting, because that's not a good idea. And I know we sound really, really negative, but
Yeah,
I did
you're rating
like
on
the show.
people's
Look,
parade here.
I did like the show though. Like
It wasn't a bad
everything that
show.
I said that they should do, they did.
They did.
But
Yeah.
it's just that they didn't do it. It's like they did the bare minimum of doing it. Like I said,
Yeah.
you gotta show Fable. I said, all right, we'll show Fable. You show
Yeah,
15
yeah.
seconds of a joke.
So you said you weren't gonna say the word bare minimum.
but like the more I
We
think
literally
about it,
said this on the show. We said this in our lives. He's like, bro, we can't say they did the bare minimum, man.
but they
Not
did.
saying
Though.
it.
But
I
look,
mean,
but
in
I have
essence,
to
now that
keep
you
it
said
a
it,
buck.
thinking
It
about
is
it,
it is the bare minimum.
The thing about it, when you,
everything that everyone said they had to do,
Yeah.
they went and did that,
Yes, they
but
did.
they didn't do it in a way that was
right.
like
Like-
exciting.
Let me just reinforce Slow-Mo's point with the Fable point, right, for a second. So we all knew that Fable was the worst kept secret, right? So we already knew that Fable was being shown today, right? Like there was no way that the stakes were going to be high on that one.
Mhm.
And then what did they do? They just slapped Fable on the screen, said, coming soon.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like so they took what you already knew and they just said, well, you know what I mean? It's like when you know,
confirmation. That's all.
right, exactly. When you know the guy across the poker table, when he's smiling at you like he got 4 aces, you're like, right? He's looking at your stack of chips like those are already his. You know what I mean? And then he throws the aces down. You ain't shocked? So my point being is, right, we already knew Fable was already in the hand. They just put the cards down. We're like, so what's it look like? They're like, we'll tell you in a couple of years. That's the problem. The problem that I had was it kind of goes hand in hand. I actually liked the show too. I thought they had great just synergy going through the entire show. It was games. They promised that. That's what they delivered. So kudos to Microsoft for doing what they said they were going to do in that respect. But the thing that was alarming to me, and the thing that I've said a lot, is this, and I'm going to ask the panel this, and I'm going to ask the audience this. Did they sell you on an Xbox Series X? And the answer is what Forte just said. It's a long drawn out maybe or no, because Halo Infinite definitely didn't look like it was going to need or utilize the power of the Series X. And everybody has an Xbox One X or an Xbox One S that they can play it on. And then we didn't get any other first party games that are really coming out this year or for launch, the games are going to come out like, maybe the other deals that they have with third-party developers, which is great. Like I said, if it's on their watch, it counts. So that's great. But there's no other first-party banger that you're really, really excited for. Do you need to run out and go buy that if you have a PC or you have a current Xbox?
No.
Not necessarily.
Real quick, let me
go ahead, get it.
Let me chime in real quick because I do have some comments about Halo and the whole idea about the Xbox Series X. I think I put a tweet out there, or I think we talked about this in DM. I said that they didn't sell me on the Xbox Series X. I was talking to actually Code about this on Discord, this afternoon about the show, but. To your point, Mooch, do they sell us on the Series X? To me, they did not. And they probably didn't sell a lot of other people. What they did do, though, I don't think Microsoft, I think they've been vocal about this. They don't really care necessarily about selling the Xbox Series X console as much as they do getting people in the Game Pass. Yeah. So I think what they did, though, at least for me, they didn't convince me to get an Xbox Series X. But they did convince me that, hey, you know what? I do want to stay within that Game Pass ecosystem because, you know what? I am going to get games like Dragon Quest, which I've always wanted to play, but because of the abundance of titles that have released, I just didn't get around to it. And now there's Destiny. That has piqued my interest in Destiny again. Maybe I'll go back and start playing Destiny with the DLC being free through Game Pass. So, and then obviously Halo Infinite, I'm going to play that. But I do want to say
Destiny thing though, Brap. Let me just interrupt you quickly. Don't lose your train of thought because I do want to hear the rest of your statement. But the Destiny thing, and I mean, Luca and Forte are definitely the Destiny professors on the panel tonight. But my point is this: they gave Destiny away for free, right? The base game, and within the next 30 to 45 days. Every DLC is going to be on sale and dirt cheap because they want you to buy the new one. So the fact that it's in Game Pass, that's great for the ecosystem. I think that's wonderful for the Destiny ecosystem because you're going to pick up a lot of people that wouldn't have normally. But so that's great.
To beat those noobs in PvP.
Exactly, right?
I'm so excited.
Exactly. So there's going to be a lot of new players. Luca's 100% right. But as far as when it jumped in, I'm like, you still got to pay the $70 for the DLC. And if you're a Destiny player that's been here for the entire ride, the fact that it joined Game Pass, it doesn't change the Destiny community. The Destiny community already owns all the DLC and already has everything. So now if they said, if you have Game Pass, all DLCs included, well, now we're talking something different. But the fact that you have to buy the new DLC still, they're just saying current DLC. Like I said, Destiny 2, the base game, has been offered for free multiple times at this point. This is Bungie's plan to get everybody in the seat, right? So that's the way it goes. But that wasn't so. You have to kind of look at the advertisement and then say, okay, who's this really for? And Brap, someone like yourself or anyone who hasn't been in Destiny, even if all that DLC is free, okay, listen, you only got about 400 hours to catch up to the people who've been there. So good luck catching up. It's not necessarily something you're going to dive into on Saturday and be like, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. It's in Game Pass.
Let's do the
happening. That's my whole point is it's a nice get. It's like when Red Dead Redemption 2 went in there. It was a big name. Mm-hmm. Great to see it going to Game Pass. But people who wanted Red Dead Redemption 2 by this point have gotten it at that point. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is on sale all the time for $25, $30. It's not necessarily it's not breaking the door down. So I thought it was a great advertisement. It was nice to see Bungie on Microsoft's stage again, but it didn't do exactly what I think they wanted it to do. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong. But like I say, Destiny 2, when you're talking about people like Luca and Forte, they've put their time, there's blood, sweat, and energy into that game. There's no way you're just going to pick that thing up in Game Pass and be like, I'll see you guys next week. I can't wait. This is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think the new DLC is also part of Game Pass.
New DLC's in it? That's fine, but I don't think so.
It is.
It is?
Okay. Yeah, I thought
that is a big deal. Then that is a big deal. I thought it was I thought it said the current DLC. I didn't think it said the future.
Yeah, current.
No,
current.
I think the confusion is that it's the naming of it because the new one is called what's it called?
Beyond Light.
Beyond Light.
Yeah. Whereas the version that's free is New Light or something.
Right. I don't. Let's be honest. You do. Let's look at the other side of the coin here. You do have to look at what Bungie's got to make money here. and they already know they have a huge Xbox group that are already playing the game. Why would they want to take the millions of Xbox gamers and not get that $70? That doesn't make sense.
Because they know a lot of people already bought it, like me, like Luca.
No,
we already bought the DLC.
Because I didn't watch it because I was in class, so I wasn't watching the show live, just hear bits and pieces. So I heard about the Slomo was like, "Oh, that new expansion's going to be in Game Pass." I was like, "The one I just bought, the one I just spent."
That's what I'm trying to say. I know.
Luca,
That's why I thought what I thought. I know.
Okay.
I know a ton of Destiny players like yourself, and they already bought it.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not sure. Do we have confirmation, Forte? Or is that what
they definitely confirmed that during the stream.
That is it. That if you buy Game Pass, because when they broke it down in the trailer, they said going to Game Pass in September, all DLC up to this point will be free, and starting up to this point, which is everything up to right now. And then they said if you are Game Pass Ultimate member, you get the free DLC for.
Yeah.
Well, hold on now.
Ultimate.
Now wait a second. Now there you
Gotta
go.
be ultimate.
Well,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
ultimate.
what did I tell everybody? I said, been saying this for months. I was like, dude, they're going to give stuff to people that are ultimate members. If you're an ultimate member, you're not going to pay for that DLC. And the thing is, the whole thought process around that was they did the same deal with Stadia. They did the same thing with Stadia. You could get
Stadia.
and you could get into that ecosystem with the full Destiny experience with all the DLC if you had Stadia Pro. And I keep going back to that conversation, not the conversation, but back to that tweet that Phil Spencer put out over a year ago or a couple years ago when Bungie separated from Activision, and he said, I want to say congratulations to my favorite developer, and I can't wait to work on them with my favorite franchise. And when he said that in that tweet, and it was very calculated, I knew I was like, they're working with Bungie. You don't just say we're work on.
Yeah, but you got to. But if you look at the percentage of when people say Game Pass is one category. Game Pass Ultimate is a completely other category.
But guess what, Smooch? What is the problem? Okay, so this may not speak to the people that are playing on PS4 and stuff because they already have all that stuff. But where does Xbox and Slomo did a really good job figuring this out. You know, they actually did say that they're working on an avenue to get it available for people on PC too, because it's only available on the console side. But the one thing that everybody on PC complains about is the rampant cheating and stuff like that on that system. And a lot of people saying with these new systems coming out, and we're going to get 4K 60 frames per second, and that's what people care about the most. A lot of people are going to leave the PC and come to console. And if you got Game Pass Ultimate, you don't lose anything on top of your character transfer coming over on top of that. So it's going to be a real easy move for those people to make that move. I just think Bungie looked at it like we already got most of the people that are going to buy the DLC to buy it day one. I bought it like 2 days after the fact. Luca bought it day one. So we're already in the bushes when it comes.
So now wait. So now we do got to kind of dive into that a little bit. So you're trying to say that. So I have Game Pass Ultimate, right? I think most people on the panel probably do. But my point is that so I did not buy the. But you have the DLC, Lucas. So you're already in. I didn't buy the DLC yet. So if I wanted the DLC, you're saying I have the DLC on Xbox. But if I wanted to play it on Game Pass PC, I don't have it.
You don't, because they haven't. They said they're working on it to. Well, I think it's most to do, and I don't know this. I just think the fact that it's not available in the Xbox store on PC, it's only available on Steam, and they don't have a partnership like that. Because you remember, all of their games that are on Steam, you have to buy. But if you want to play them for free, you play them through the Xbox app. So I think they're trying to find a way to get it to move over to that, and once they do, then you'll be able to share Game Pass Ultimate with it. But until that happens, and Bungie pretty much said they're looking at 2021 for that, and I'm thinking that's also going to come in line with the whole cross-play situation they talked about. They said that's going to be something that they're looking at next year. So you might see PC Game Pass and everything tied in, you know, when they do.
If they throw PC Game Pass into that DLC mix, that's a real nice selling piece, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
That's a great selling piece.
Well, that was it
definitely works for people who like, okay, so the people who are already invested in Destiny, like Luca and Forte, they already paid. So as far as Bungie's concerned, okay, we got that money, and then we're getting some additional money from Microsoft to allow this into Game Pass Ultimate, and we can potentially get new players in to try the game that may have fallen off from Destiny, tried it before, for whatever reason stop playing it, might come back, or people who hadn't tried it yet might want to give it a shot through Game Pass Ultimate, and they weren't going to give it a shot with spending money. But now that they already had this subscription, they might go ahead and download it, and you're still not losing out on any of the revenue that you would have got from the Xbox gamers who were Destiny players already. So it's almost like a double dipping. So for Bungie, that's a really good deal.
Well, that's something I wanted to ask Luca, because she's in the situation that I'm in. So Luca, how do you feel with this DLC going to, you don't have Game Pass Ultimate, so it wouldn't apply to you anyways. But if you did, how would you feel knowing that you already paid for it and everybody that has that service gets it for free?
I feel my initial feeling was, seriously?
Yep.
And then I started thinking about it. At the end of the day, I am in this ecosystem when it comes to Destiny, and I want to be able to own my stuff, and the off chance that, because the reason I even have Game Pass is because of my game share partner. Like, I wouldn't have it without him, like the normal version or whatever. So, without him, I probably wouldn't even get this Game Pass Ultimate either. And, like I said, I'm in the Destiny ecosystem, so I don't mind owning the game.
Yep, and that's exactly what, because I thought I would be. I did the same thing. I was like, dang, that sucks. I even said on the street, I said, man, can I get my money back somehow? And then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? This really doesn't bother me as much, because I get everything that I want out of the game, no matter what. And the pennies that I put into this game to actually play it is like minuscule compared to wanting to get more people in the ecosystem. I think it's a great move. And
not just that, but now Forte, because you bought it outright, does that mean that when you transfer your player save over to PC that you also have the new DLC as well?
No,
right?
PC, no. Well, the DLC has never worked like that for Beyond Light. The only thing that transfers over to
so you're strictly playing on console then? No,
I'm playing on both. I bought the DLC on both systems.
Oh, you double dipping all over the place.
Both systems? Holy
no, I didn't buy. No, I didn't.
Lucas like, what?
No, I bought Beyond Light only on Xbox. I didn't. But the last DLC, I bought everything on both systems.
The last DLC was what?
The one that came out, the last season pass that came out last year.
Season pass is like $10, So
no, not the season. No, what was it?
The DLC, the $40 one.
Shadowkeep,
$40 one.
Yeah, I bought that on everything. PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. But I did. Now, for this one, I only bought it on Xbox because once they announced that it was 60 frames per second on console, I'm like, oh, don't need to play on PC no more. So I can go back to console, and I only bought it over there. So hopefully, like you said, it doesn't take forever for them to make this a reality with the whole PC move over. But it's a great move.
The biggest thing for me is that I'm happy about. I'm gonna get fresh flesh and PvP, baby. It's already easy picking. After they took out skill-based matchmaking, it's gonna be even more beautiful. I cannot wait.
That's hilarious.
Now, I do the one thing before, I know you want to take it back up, Brad, but I do want to answer the question that you said about have they convinced you to buy a system, or if convinced me. I've been on the record for a long time saying they convinced me a long time ago, and it wasn't Microsoft that convinced me. It was Bungie coming out saying they were doing what they were doing. That's what convinced me to buy the system. I know that's what convinced Luca. She was on the fence too for a while. And this is the thing that people don't realize. Like, as much as I like Microsoft, I don't bend to the will of what Microsoft's games are. I play Xbox for a completely different reason than most other people do. I do like their exclusives. I want them to be better exclusives, but honestly, Xbox is literally my Destiny machine. And once they announced all this stuff for it, they made that a very simple conversion for me to do. Now, if my friends were to go somewhere else like PS4 or PC, then I would go where they are. But as of right now, my friends and the ones I like to play the game with the most, that's where the ecosystem wants me to be at with them. And I'm going to buy the system for that because I'm going to get the enjoyment that I want out of the system because of being with them. Now, if Microsoft didn't show you stuff that you wanted, like there's a lot of people out there saying that, this show didn't show me what I wanted, then you should wait. You don't
Wait,
don't
for what? Why is that even still a conversation piece?
Yeah,
Like,
why? I don't understand. Just
Well,
buy
I
it
actually have a question
you.
I have a question for Forte.
What's
Forte, if you say that, and you've said this on Crossfire a bunch of times as well, you always play Destiny where your friends are at, and you always say my friends are on Xbox. Why did you buy DLC for all the platforms then if you're strictly playing with your friends on Xbox?
Because I have friends everywhere, but the majority of so PC.
mhm.
So Luca got on me about this one. And shout out to you for bringing it up. When I play I play Destiny probably 70%, about 60% by myself because I'm always doing just random stuff in the world. And when I'm doing that, I play on PC because it's just a better experience overall. But when it comes to my team play stuff, I always do that, like Luca, Taz, Villain when he decides to want to play the freaking game.
Once every 6 months.
Yeah, every 6 months. That's my fire team. When it comes to playing Destiny in a team dynamic and doing stuff that we want to do, I do it with them, and I will always default back to Xbox. Luca always tells me, he's like, I don't understand how you can go back and forth to PC and console as much as you do with the difference in fidelity and frame rates. And I'm like, well, I do it because of them. If I didn't have them, I wouldn't do it. Now, PS4, I didn't have to pay for that. They actually gave it to me on PS4. So that was one that I didn't have to pay for, but I wouldn't own it on PS4 if Sony didn't give it to me.
Yeah. All right, guys. Great Destiny talk, by the way.
Love it.
Yeah. So I do want to kind of chime in because we're talking about Halo Infinite. And for me, Halo holds a special place in my gaming heart. It's the first game that I bought with my OG Xbox launch day. I'll never forget firing that the OG Xbox console and playing Halo for the first time. But I guess my issue with this game, and I share some of the same opinions that the panel has here. I think that Microsoft, I get that they're pushing Game Pass, right? I get that that's the platform right now. It's not so much the console that's the focus; it's Game Pass, and I get that. But at the same time, if you're coming out here and you're saying this thing eats monsters or whatever they said, right? If you're completely going out there and saying, you know what, this thing is the most powerful console in the world, it can make French toast, it can make you better in bed, it can do all these great things for you, right? It's the most powerful thing known to mankind, and I'm exaggerating, but you got to show it. And I thought that this was an opportunity for them to do that, and they didn't do that, especially with their top tier franchise, their biggest franchise in their portfolio of games in Halo. I just didn't see it. I see people tweeting things like, "Oh, this game is heading in the right direction," and I'm like, "Well, what direction is that?" I didn't see that in this.
We don't know, but it is.
Yeah, it's like
they didn't show no direction. So what the hell are they talking about?
I'm telling you,
Wait, I'm sorry, I just got back. Which game you guys talking about?
Halo. We went back
We're
to
still
Halo.
talking about Halo. We've been
yeah.
talking about Halo and Destiny this entire time. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, and so because I wanted to chime in on Halo there, Slow-Mo, but no, I mean like people are saying it's like they think that this is the right direction. I'm like, what direction is this game going? To me, we didn't see enough. I didn't see enough, at least, to say, oh yeah, this makes sense. They're going the right direction. Yes, open world, but Halo's always had kind of teetered on that open world and then corridor shooter type game design. It's always done that. Maybe it's more open world now. I don't know. Maybe there's more side missions because they can do it.
Yeah.
But to me, at least visually, the game just did not wow me. There was no wow factor there. And I thought it was a missed opportunity for them to really kind of show what the Xbox Series X is capable of. And we've heard all the talk about the Slip Space engine, the big budget that 343 Studios has, the 1,200 employees that it has working on this game, and it just to me fell flat. It was for me a letdown, and I thought it was a big missed opportunity for Microsoft and really kicking off next gen for their first party. Now, that's not to say that I don't think Halo Infinite could look good down the road. I think everyone on the panel said that, it needs some fine tuning. But I got to say, like, when I saw Hellblade 2, I was definitely more impressed by what I saw there than what I saw with Halo Infinite by leaps and bounds. So That's my Halo Infinite rant. But
So you don't think anybody at 343, the 1,200 people they got there, not one of those people can do textures or shadows on brutes or because that I'm gonna tell you.
well,
I told
I don't
Brad
know.
this in the pre-show today. The one thing that for me that kind of threw off the whole thing after going back and looking at it is the fact that there was literally like the sun was shining so bright in that halo by that halo that the fact that there was no shadows on anything, it threw everything off. It's like just the light, like people don't understand how much lighting really matters in the game to kind of give it a depth of field and stuff to make it like really stand and pop out in certain environments. And I was like, dude, that elite had no shadow. That brute has no hair. All this stuff was like missing from the game. And I'm like, dude, this game comes out in 4 months and we're missing like key things that should be in the game day one. But I don't know, man.
And I gotta be honest with you, I don't know how I feel about the grappling hook. I'm on the fence with it.
I'm still on the fence about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I
Let's
saw,
see multiplayer first before we can decide on the graphic.
Right.
Yeah,
I need to see more of it before I can really have
Yeah.
a beat on if the grappling hook is a good move or not. But I mean,
yeah,
I'm okay with it so far.
yeah. Guys, I do want to go to another topic here because this ties into the show. Some of the games that they showed that are going to be exclusive to Xbox said Xbox Series X/PC. And we know Phil Spencer, I think, was it last week when he said they don't believe in generational exclusives. And I saw some of those games pop up, and I said to myself, those games are not launching for 2, 3, 4 years, whatever the case is, or they're coming in within the next year. And if you want to play them, you're gonna have to play them on the Xbox Series X. But would make sense because they also came back and said, we're not mandating that first party necessarily support cross-gen either. So again, I'm not trying to pile on Microsoft. I think more than anything else, I just see this pattern from them where they talk, they say one thing, and then they do something else. And then they come back and say something else. And then they do something else again. And we talked earlier about them saying, we have with 2 more in the chamber or whatever. I forget what Aaron said.
He said 2 more.
Which I just like, okay, but we keep hearing that. But Mooch, let me ask you something. I'm going to go to you because, again, we saw these exclusives. We heard about, we heard Phil Spencer said we don't believe in generational exclusives, but then you are seeing generational exclusives. Now we can debate, the timetable of those exclusives, but you're already seeing the media now. And this is why I'm going to pose this question to you, Mooch, because we love talking about the media. Yes, the media.
Media science, baby.
The great media.
The great media. I mean, Mooch, right now, as I speak, The Verge is saying 1 week later, it looks like Microsoft is already breaking a big promise with Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
This is the problem.
Kotaku has an article also.
Not even referring to the media here. I actually have a list here in front of me. I mean, you have, besides Halo Infinite, okay, you've State of Decay 3 very early on. That what you saw was not gameplay. Forza, we that was not. I mean, it was in engine, so everybody likes to call things out. It was in fine. These in engine, fine. That wasn't gameplay. That's a ways out. They're saying Rare's Everwild. Not only is that a ways out, nobody in the media or even online has been able to say what the hell it is.
Exactly.
Nobody even knows.
Because Rare don't even know what it is.
Oh,
they said they're still trying to figure out what the game is going to be.
So why are you showing it?
Why are they showing it?
right. And then on top of that, you've got Hellblade 2, which everybody in every single week since they've announced the Xbox Series X, every single Friday on Crossfire, people go, but Hellblade 2, Mooch, Hellblade 2. Hellblade 2 is a ways out as well. It's so far out that they didn't even show anything. Didn't even show another CGI. Didn't even show another engine clip.
Mooch, they're scouting.
Right, they're scouting, right? So if you haven't seen the Best of Earth 2 yet, right, on 4K Blu-ray, they have something for you there. Double Fine, and now I saw this on Twitter. Please, guys, if I'm wrong, correct me. But Psychonauts 2 has even been delayed, even to 2021. That's what I heard today. So it doesn't matter. Avowed, which I thought was, by the way, Avowed is probably the best game by Obsidian. At least the potential of it looks absolutely amazing. That's years out, right? Because they just released Outer Worlds. They're doing Grounded, and they're working on this next game. It's 2-3 years out at least. So when you say they're stepping back on their words, yes, I guess you can go ahead and say that. But the games that are coming out of their newly acquired studios are years and years away. Another reason why I asked everybody at the beginning of the show, did they sell you on the Series X? And if somebody says, yes, they did, I'd say, well, okay, my second question to that is, when did they sell you? Did they sell you in November of 2020? Or did they sell you in November of 2022 or 2023? Because
definitely 2023. If you look at how early these games are, like
exactly,
you're not
so
seeing
early.
those games
right in
in
time
2
for the
years.
Xbox Series next.
right. You know, and I mean, and to be honest with you guys,
I'm being dead serious, man. 2023.
No, you are right,
We're going to be talking about the next console.
you're right.
No,
and
don't say that, E.
No,
They will.
he's
They'll
right.
be phasing out the Series
But-
S. The Series X would be their new low end bargain, and they'll be coming up with something else. They've already talked about doing the cell phone model.
Hey, real quick, I just want to say something to your point, Mitch, about them stepping back and the games being released later on the road. The Verge, even this article from The Verge, they even went back and asked Microsoft point blank whether they're still committed to their promise and whether the title cards were inaccurate regarding like the exclusives, right?
Right.
And Microsoft wouldn't answer. They wouldn't clarify that, and I'm just like, well, what is like? This is the thing that I don't understand. Like, who? I think we've talked about this behind the scene, Mooch, where you're like, there's some people there that probably need to go.
Yeah, I've said, listen, I never mention names because that's not my job. If they put me,
I'm not either.
All I would say is I've been saying this for probably almost 2 years now. I've said they need.
But do you see what I'm getting at, the
yeah.
Mooch? I mean, do you see what I'm saying though? Like the media's going out and asking these questions. Hey, are you guys still living up to that promise of no generational?
There's a
no
number of
behind.
there's a number of clips out there, Brap, that literally say, okay, they have different quotes from different executives, and they each quote contradicts it, and you're only about like a couple of weeks off from each quote. It's not years off, you're weeks off, and it's like it doesn't make any sense. So realistically, Sony's one of their vice presidents or whoever it was that was on there the other day, I think he was doing an interview with Jeff Keighley, and he said something that he said, we believe in generations. We're going to say a traditional method. You will need, because it honestly makes sense. I'm sorry, but it makes sense. Like, and a lot of people likes to say, well, Mooch, that's kind of crap. That's bullshit because I want to be able to keep my Xbox One X and play games on it. Listen, we're talking about anywhere from between $400 and maybe $500 for these consoles. We've had them for 7 years, right? You've had these games. You've had an Xbox One S or an Xbox One Day One Fat Edition for 7 years or 4 years, respectively. And you're talking about $400. People are trading out cars in 5 years. They're $30,000. Like, what are we talking about? Like, these things, technology moves forward. We're buying new phones every year. I understand they're subsidized. I get that. But these are $1,100 in our pockets for the most part. You're buying the Galaxy S11, S12, whatever they're on. I'm an Apple guy. You guys know it, okay? I mean, the new Apple's coming out in October. Everybody's going to complain about it in September, and they're going to buy it in October. It's going to be $1,200. So my point being is that what are we talking about? We've got to upgrade. It's 7 years in this generation. You should be excited as gamers for new technology. Utilize the hardware that's coming out. So when you see a company say, we're going to let you keep what you have or buy, it's going to be a bit held back. How it's held back, that's not my job. That's not my job. I listen to people like Optimus Code and other developers that have come out and said this, okay? And that's why even the Medium's a developer who's making the game timed exclusive, which we found out today for Xbox, came out and said the same thing today. Not today, pardon me. He said it a few months back. He said, we are making this game exclusively for the Series X because we wouldn't be able to do what our dreams and our expectations are for this game with older hardware. That's their own team saying it that they hired. That's not me saying it, so don't get mad at me. Get mad at him.
And now, Mooch, with that, couldn't you say, well, they really wanted to, they could get it to work on the Xbox One X?
Oh, they could,
but they said no, but that's going to compromise our vision for this game.
Yes, and that's the same thing you were saying with the Shadows of Mordor example.
Yeah, but we can't. But the thing is, it's like everybody's worried about what somebody says. I wish let us have our fun, but nobody says anything when people out there with this dumb notion of moving forward with technology is all of a sudden a negative. Oh, I'm worried about little Jimmy who just got a PS4 for Christmas. Little Jimmy got a PS4 for Christmas. He's doing okay. Little Jimmy don't give a damn.
He don't care.
Little Jimmy don't care about this kind of stuff.
And guess what? And little Jimmy, if little Jimmy's parents say, well, we want little Jimmy to have this now, he's going to get it. Or we're going to, hey, I'll wait for 2 more Christmases until we get that one.
Yes.
That's how there's nothing wrong with that. Why are people going into this?
You know what, E? Microsoft does believe in generations. Like they're salesmen.
Lomo.
They're salesmen. And
Right.
as of right now, they have a lot of games that are going to be cross generation, and you're not going to see too much of a leap from current gen to next gen. So this is the narrative they're going to give you. 2 years from now, they're going to give you a different narrative.
Yeah.
2 years from then, they're going to give you a different narrative.
Maybe 2
And it's
months.
and it's not
2 weeks.
exclusive.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It might be 2
But if you-
hours.
But if you look at
it's not exclusive to them. It's just that they do it so often and they flip flop so frequently that it's so obvious that we see it and it's just like, wait a minute, but you just contradicted what that other guy that works for you said 2 weeks ago.
But their
But this is-
philosophy services what they're trying to do. They're trying to service PC, console, and cloud. They're trying to do all of this. They're trying to be the jack of all trades, right? But
Master
in
of
there,
none.
somebody's going to be left out. It's just you can't. Your message is going to be all over the place when you're trying to hit everybody.
Yeah, their messaging is it's not the best. It hasn't been the best for years. I don't know. I
Right.
mean,
But look, they've
it's-
leaned in. They've leaned
yeah.
into this whole. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
No,
they
you're
really look at it. They've really embraced and leaned into this. We're the most consumer friendly thing.
and that's a good thing. Good for them.
It is a good thing, but the thing is, I trip on when people think that we're best friends.
That's
No,
true.
Oh,
no,
no,
They're
no,
not
no,
your
no.
friends. They don't care
They're
about
not
you.
doing this. Believe me, whatever their end game is with being this consumer friendly image, it services what they want to do to make more money off of you. This isn't because I retweeted you.
No, that's true.
You know? Oh my God, they followed me.
But I do want to point out, like you guys were talking about how they were showing these games that are going to be years out and how they said they didn't want to do that. But it's like at the same time, there were a lot of people saying, you guys just need to show us stuff, even if it's going to be years out. So I do commend them
That's
for
true.
taking
Absolutely.
That's true.
taking
Absolutely.
that
Very true.
taking that criticism and that critique that they've heard for years and addressing it. That being said, we also don't know exactly when these games are supposed to come out, so it's up in the air for that. If these games are years out, I have no problem with that. I am always of the mind that you should just show what you have.
Yes.
And I don't think they should be, if this turns out to be true and they are years out, I don't think they should be critiqued for showing titles that are years out
I agree
and
with
without
that.
any gameplay.
Right.
Like I don't think there's anything wrong with
Yeah.
that personally.
But
Yeah.
when we're talking about sticking, and I agree, Luca nailed that. We asked for it, they showed it. Good, that's fine. I now know. Now I have a roadmap of what Xbox's first party is going to create, and that excites me. I genuinely liked a few of the games I saw. I really did. But my point being is that when Xbox is sitting there telling you you don't have to buy the new console because
Right.
and then but it's like, so why? Part of this sales pitch was Game Pass. Well, I should say probably about 85% of it was Game Pass. And the rest of it was, I don't know how, when people say to me, Mooch, should I get a Series X? The answer is, I don't know. I mean, because you already have the device in your home to enjoy what they're going to provide for you for possibly up to 24 months. So before you start to utilize the true power of this thing. And, here's the interesting point that we kind of forget about. This is really interesting. If you don't think Sony's thinking about this, you're really mistaken. So by the time we actually see the 12.1 teraflop monster put out its true brute force, if you like that slow-mo, okay, before they actually put that right,
Baby.
we're only 3. So if it's 2 years, 2.5 years till Xbox starts putting these out, you don't think in 3 years a PS5 Pro ain't coming out? Like, this is my point, right? Like, Sony knows what's going on. They know how their enemies are going to be. Like, that's the thing. Microsoft, they're not our competition. Sony's like, well, you're mine, buddy. So I'm watching you, right? So So the PS5 Pro is almost as sure as shit is coming out in 3 years. When that comes out, and Microsoft's like, here's our big bangers, Sony's gonna be like, okay, we're ramping up, and that's it, and then it's head to head again. So Microsoft, here, the question I have, and a lot of people say, well, can't I just enjoy what I want to enjoy? Absolutely. I'm not telling you not to, but I question it. If we haven't had a new AAA IP since roughly 2017, Okay, it's 2020. That's 3 years. And now we're talking another 2. What are you doing over there? Phil Spencer's been in the boss since 2014. What are you doing over there? Where are the games?
In fairness, they did have to rebuild their first party. So, he's out there wheeling and dealing, buying studios.
Okay,
I mean,
that's fine. 343 is not new.
No, they're not. And I get it. Turn 10's not new.
The Coalition's not new. Turn 10's not new. And you're actually going to show the biggest thing that I thought was ironic that no one's really talking about is Ori in 4K 120. Well, let me tell you guys a little story about. You can say that.
Better upgrade your TV.
Let me tell you something else, Forte. I beat that game. I absolutely loved Ori. That game was having a hard time running on Xbox One X. That thing was like a stuttering mess.
First thing I talked to when they said,
"Thank you,
like,
E."
Did you get the other one working?
Yeah, but once they put that
patch, did you fix the one we got now in the home?
But once they put that patch out, they fixed that though. So I kind of have
mine's not fixed.
You said what?
I still got a problem.
You still have a problem?
It's when I go to do a triple jump, it's still like.
Hey, real quick, I gotta get the super chat real quick with T-Easy83 with the $2 super chat says Xbox Series X is better than 2080 Ti, right? Yeah, no, it's Slummo can answer that.
Yeah, the answer to that is what has always been, which is hell no. It's not better than a 2080 Ti. It's not going to be. Sorry.
No, never was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, this is. I agree with Luca that like them showing games that are going to be not coming out for a few years is fine. That's what their competition does. There's nothing wrong with that. No. It allows people within your community to say, okay, I know what is coming on the horizon. I know what to look forward to. And if I'm interested in those games, then I may go ahead and continue to invest or stay within this ecosystem. That works. When you don't have content, you use future content to try to hold people in place. I think what people were more kind of talking about was just the whole cross-generational talk, which is the double talk. And as we all said,
I don't think it's really double talking though. Because
how is it not double talking?
Because we don't know. Because we don't know when these games. We don't know when they're coming.
Look, yes, you can say
if those games come out in a year and a half, a year to a year and a half, then it's double talking.
You're gonna tell me a game like Fable where you didn't show us anything is going to be out in a year and a half?
Wait. They didn't show us anything with Halo either, and that's games coming out in November. So
there's no O. They showed us a trailer of that 2 years ago.
Yeah,
but why are we expecting to think that
way
Fable
more than what they showed?
And I'm actually with Forte. It's like we don't know when these games are coming out.
Yeah.
Real quick, Forte, real quick. Kotaku did ask them because they said that you showed a bunch of games, and I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially the premise of the article is, hey, Microsoft came out, they showed next generation games that said Xbox Series X. They say many games shown were listed just for Xbox Series X, not for Xbox One. They asked Microsoft to clarify that. Microsoft wouldn't commit to anything.
Yeah, because those games, because they don't know when those games are going to be ready.
Forte, they have an idea though.
Listen, bro.
Forte, you have benchmarks in development, right? They have an idea how far along these games are in. They have an idea what the launch window might be for these games. Sure, they can't guarantee and say absolutely 100% because we know things can get delayed. We're in this uncertainty of COVID right now, but they did ask them, and actually, I think Aaron Greenberg may have actually, I think according to the Verge article, basically said, hey, we leave it up to the discretion of the developers, how they see best fit, which is kind of contradictory to what Phil said about no generational exclusives, and then walking that back and saying, well, hey, it's up to our first party. We're not mandating. So which one is it?
That's the double talk.
So
That's double
to
talk.
me-
Thank you, B-Money.
So to me, until these games are released, and like I said, I always go off of the
It
thing.
doesn't matter when they're
Forte.
released because
Go
if
off,
they
of
say
go off what they said. Listen, I don't care what they say. Now, what did they say? They said 2 years. If these games come out before 2 years and they ain't available on multiple platforms when it comes to the Xbox ecosystem, then yes, you guys are absolutely right. But some of these games, like the fact that they didn't even show you they basically gave you Skyrim when it came to Fable. They showed you a splash screen with a title on it. That's what they basically did. That game probably ain't coming out for another 3 years. You know, Forza, who knows? They're rebuilding Forza from the ground up. They skipped a couple of different years just to bring it. Now, who knows what's going to happen with that game? I'm not saying you guys aren't right. I mean, saying you guys are wrong or anything. I'm just saying going after this in that regard makes it just seem like, look, we asked for them to show us games. They showed us what's on the plate for games when it comes to this system. Now,
Okay.
take
Wait,
it as
wait.
you will. If you now
Okay.
you don't have to go out and buy this new system as of right now. They haven't announced anything that's coming out for Xbox One X or anything like that. It's all a wait and see approach for the system at this point. So over the course of time, play what's available now or buy the new system when these games start coming out. But whatever happens, we're gonna know in the next couple of years. But
I don't understand why. Okay, so why did you say that we don't know when the games are coming out? So we can't say they're going to be a couple years, at least a couple years out.
they are gonna be.
And
they
then
probably will be a
you
couple
just
years.
contradicted yourself.
No,
You
because
just said,
As he often does.
If we're
but-
going,
just
off-
said I couldn't say that, but then you say that.
What they said for Halo, they literally showed us a trailer. They showed us a cutscene 2 years ago. 2 years. The game's been in development for 5. So it's gonna be what 2.5 years by the time we actually get this game.
Can I just want to throw a little wrinkle here, Forte, to add to show you the level of confusion that I'm trying to refer to here. And as B Money agrees with me, the double talk. Obsidian on their website, Obsidian's Avowed list. It's also coming to Xbox One, in addition to Series X and PC.
Okay.
Is it?
This is on Obsidian's website.
Wait, Avowed?
Yeah, that it's coming to Xbox Series X and Xbox One and PC.
I guarantee you they walked that one back.
They haven't yet.
But see, and that is an instance right there where you're absolutely see.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I have to do this. So
ahead.
this mixed messaging from Xbox in which Insomniac didn't tell us anything about this Spider-Man game. So clearly they were hiding stuff. And yet you say Obsidian put on their site it was going to be on the Xbox One as well. Why didn't they say that in the showcase? Why we got to show off? Why do we got to find out from the website? Huh? What are they hiding? What are they hiding, man?
That's what I'll be
That's
trying
what
to
the bots
tell
sound like,
people.
right? That's how they do it. Okay. Did I do it right?
You did it right.
Good.
You did it right. That was very accurate.
Oh, thanks.
By the way, Undead Labs came out and said that State of Decay 3, another game that's only going to be on the Series X and not going to Xbox One, is in early pre-production.
Yeah.
Early pre-production means
Hold your breath on that one.
you haven't even started working on the game in earnest yet. A game, most of these games, minimum 3 years of development.
Minimum.
That's minimum. That means they're not even close to getting to launch. That game's not coming out until 2023 at the earliest.
That's what I'm saying. When you think about the mind share that Sony's going to grab while we're waiting for these games, that's what I'm saying.
They
When I
already
went down
have
that,
it.
well, yeah, that's
But
true.
they already have it, Mooch. I mean,
No,
look, Mooch, we
right.
play Ghost of Tsushima right now.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing in a minute.
Yeah,
but
I
you
mean,
don't know.
yeah.
I mean, I got to be honest with you. But you look at the games, and don't get me wrong. Again, Luke is also right with what you said earlier. We do have to reiterate. We asked them to show. They showed. So I'm not going to knock them for showing games that are 3-4 years out. However, I'm also going to tell people when people are like, Mooch, come on, man. State of Decay 3? Avowed?
Baby.
I mean, come on, man.
Baby.
I'm like, dude, they're literally like, they're pulling a Jerry Maguire. They're like, who's coming with me? And I'm like, I'll get there in about 4 years when it comes out.
For a
Like, what
cheaper
are we
price,
talking
too.
about?
You get there for a cheaper price too if you wait.
Hey, real quick, guys,
Absolutely, Forte.
I got to get this super chat from Flaffy1101, $2 super chat. Nice avatar, Flaffy. Forte was capping on PS5 shortage. Really, guys.
Hmm.
When
Shout
I
out
think about
to
keeping
that
those
Tony.
pictures off there,
Yeah.
Brad.
Shout out to Flaffy for stating the obvious.
You know, he's definitely the realest, baby.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great.
Look,
Keep it up.
I'm just talking about the messaging. I just feel like that's been a
Messaging has been a problem for years.
yeah. And look, I know people are going to be like, "Oh, you're hating on Xbox. You guys always hate on Xbox." No, I'm just pointing this out because it's a thing. It's a thing. You see it. You see it clear as day. You know. Look, and there were some positives of the show. I don't want to say that it was all bad. I think we all agree the variety of games that Xbox has showed was awesome. I think if you are somebody that enjoys a variety of different genres, then you should probably consider picking up Xbox Game Pass. I still think Xbox Game Pass is the best value right now in the gaming industry. It really is. I mean, just the plethora of games that they're offering. Microsoft.
It depends on the game. It depends on who you are in the gaming world, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not for everyone. Yeah.
I have my friends that literally buy only Madden, only COD, and only NBA 2K. Right? They
you say Warzone, Mooch?
They did. Well, yes, absolutely. But my point being, like, they don't care about small indie games, and they don't care about the 360 games that are in there, and they just don't care. They don't play Halo, they don't play Gear, like they don't care. So like it depends on who you're talking to, and that's the difference when we relate Game Pass from the Netflix of gaming. When you're talking about TV shows, there's always something like Luca actually got me like psyched about The Boys, right? Like I had no idea that was even out there. And I understand it's not Netflix, but it's the same idea of a streaming TV show movie service, right? Like I didn't know that was out there, but that could still grab your taste. Like all of a sudden, if a friend of mine only plays, I have one friend, he literally just plays NBA 2K, period. Done. Like it doesn't matter what I sell him on, he won't play anything else. So when I told him it's $10 a month, he's like, $10 a month? For what? And I'm like, and I tell him about the 100 games. He's like, I already have the game I'm playing. Like, there's no sales pitch. He's out. So it depends on who we're talking about a lot of the times. When you're talking about the hardcore Xbox fan, it's a no-brainer. The value's through the roof because if you were going to buy 2 Xbox games in the year, you already made out. It's a no-brainer, but it's not necessarily that easy of a purchase. Not to mention everything in the world right now, everything from car to your house to heating to anything is a monthly subscription now. So when you're talking to somebody who's on the fence about adding another $10 or $15 a month, there's a breaking point, and you can't say no. We all know people that got rid of Netflix. We know people that got rid of HBO Max. We know people that got rid of these other things that are monthly fees because there's other monthly fees that they can't get rid of, like heat. You know what I mean? Or like a mortgage. So like there's other things that, right? And there's exactly. So the point of the matter is that there's a breaking point, and when we only talk about it always in the community, we're like, it's great. Everyone loves the new magic word is value. And people are like,
it is value, though.
It is value, but it may not be value to you. You know what I mean? And when I say you, I mean the public. I don't mean you, Brap, or you, the panel. I mean you, the public. It depends. So it's not necessarily, this thing that everyone's going, well, everyone's going to get it. Not necessarily. Gaming's a very finicky subject, and each person likes a certain game. Luca and Forte could tell you, Destiny players, they're playing Destiny 24/7. They don't care if the medium shows up in 3 months. They don't care. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about
me for filth, man. You right?
It's like
I get to it when I get to it.
Which is never.
I'm getting that one. Playing that thing.
And that's the thing, Mooch. Is like based on that. Again, I see people that say, "Well, it's the best value. I get it for free," and then like it's not really free if you are paying a subscription,
right?
It's not free,
And the thing is too, you have to think about how often are you hitting, like you just said with the Destiny thing. Some of us are playing other games. Some of these games take forever. I may not touch my Game Pass for a couple of months,
but there are plenty of people who do utilize it quite a bit. Like my game share partner does use it a lot,
right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a one size fits all. I mean, it's
but there you go.
When people look at, I'm saying when people look at other people and it's like you're Game Pass shaming. Again, I said this like months ago. I was like, some people are completely fine still paying for their one game or their however many games. They just want to either own it or they just like, I don't want to have another subscription service because I may one day forget that I even did it and I'm paying it for months. It's just weird.
So listen, outside of Xbox's first party, because that's where the word value, Brap, for me means something. Like me as a gamer, I'm not going to wait 6 months and cross both of my fingers on both hands and be like, you know what? I hope Game Pass gets this AAA game that I wanted by a third party. Maybe it'll land there. No. Like, if I want to play it, I'm going to go play the game I want to play at that time. Not just that. We are in the era of not just sports, but in gaming. What have you done for me lately? Right now, everybody's talking about Ghost of Tsushima. There's still remnants of The Last of Us 2 out there on the social media market, right? Everyone's talking about screenshots galore. Like, why would I wait? Let's just say that let's say Ghost of Tsushima was an Xbox game. Am I going to sit there and I'm not going to wait for it to drop into a game? I'm going to go play the game.
Wait,
I'm not going to wait for the drop in Game Pass. So it depends on what customer you're talking about. There's a lot of people in the chat going, damage control. It's not damage control. If you like it, good for you. I've had Game Pass Ultimate now since the day that we were able to get it for that $1.
I don't know, Mooch. Kind of sounds like damage control.
Well, you can say, well, it's not. I downloaded one game on Game Pass, and that's Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I have not downloaded anything else on there. Like, I don't. If I want the game, I go get it. When it's an Xbox exclusive game, yes, I'll play it on there. Xbox hasn't anything this year except for Ori.
Mooch, I agree with you to an extent. Like, when you want a game, when you really want a game, you just go out and get it. Take Final Fantasy VII Remake. I was not waiting until whenever it's going to show up on the Xbox or most likely on PC before I play it. Came out the day it was out on PS4. I was playing it. Took off from work. I had to. But there's some games where people are like, that Control game looks pretty cool, but I don't like it like that. Like, if it goes on sale, I might pick it up. It's that kind of gamer that will, if they have Game Pass, then they'll download it through Game Pass and play it that way, because they have already, like, even though Control's not on Game Pass yet, but like some of these other AAA third-party games that show up on Game Pass like 4 or 5 months after they launched, the people who are waiting for that Black Friday sale go, oh yeah, that game. Oh yeah, Devil May Cry 5. Yeah, all right, I'll play that now. So like, that's the demographic that they can kind of like run in.
You have to be
but the day one dudes ain't no. You're buying it.
Game Pass. I was gonna say Game Pass
nailed it, but more real quick for this, Slow-Mo actually nailed both sides of the coin, which is fantastic. But what I'm saying too is that you also have to look at the amount of people that are willing to sit there and pay the $10 a month for that instance where they go, I don't want to pay Control. Control, I'm not paying $60. By the way, Control dropped to like $30 in like 3 months. So like my point being is like, right. So while you're sitting there waiting for Control to land in Game Pass, you've already paid $60 to Microsoft. You know what I'm saying? In 6 months. So you already could have got it for like $30. So it depends on what's going on. It depends on how long it takes people while they're paying the $10 a month to realize whether or not they're doing that download that you're talking about, Slow-Mo. Some are doing it more often and they'll find the value to be there. Some are finding, like myself, like me, when Ultimate runs out, I'm not going to renew it until an Xbox first party game comes out, because the other games that are in Game Pass, I already have them, I already own them, or I don't have any interest in playing them. So my point is, when Xbox has a new game come out, boom, I'm going to do the Game Pass for a month. I'm going to play it for a month, do the tweet out the pictures like everybody does, the whole nine, grab your footage, and we're out. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, it's just the way it is. I think that a lot of people are going to start to do that. And if you notice, Xbox is very smart, right? It's the same thing what they do. They say the proper words when they're going to do their sales pitch, and they announce the amount of subscriptions they have in Game Pass at the perfect times. So right after they do they're doing a $1 deal now, right? They just got done with one. They did that, and any day now, that train's never late. The minute they get done with that, and everyone peaks, they go, we've got 12 million people. But they don't tell you that the next 6 months were after the people dropped off and it went down to 8. They don't report the 8. See, that's the thing. They magically decided we're not going to talk about numbers unless they want to. Right?
Oh yeah. That's the that's the whole shuffle. Like when things are down, you don't say much. When things are up, man, you brag and you got your chest poked out. I do agree. Like, and I said this on the live stream earlier with Forte. I said that I got that $1 deal that converted my Xbox Live Gold, which was for 2 years, into Game Pass Ultimate for 2 years. So like mine doesn't. expire until like June of next year. But when mine expires, like there better be a reason for me to be using Game Pass in order to keep me on. And I think they understand that. They think they understand that in order for us to keep Slow Mo invested and subscribed, we have to have a game that he's, or at least a few games that he's playing through the service to actually keep him on. In order to keep Mooch on, we gotta have more than one game that drops in 1 month. Mooch plays it, beats it, uninstalls it, and now he's already canceled it.
Slow-mo, that's why they're catering their first party games as a service.
Right,
because
right.
They're trying to make it that if no matter which game you are, if you're a Forza, if you're a car enthusiast, if you're a Halo enthusiast, if you're a whatever you like that they have, they're not going to have Halo Infinite 2. They've already said they're going to
they want to stretch that out as far as long as possible.
Keep you as long as possible. The question is how long will you keep paying $10 a month? It depends. If you're somebody that plays Halo nonstop, that's fine. If you beat the campaign, you're like, I'm good. You're done after a month. It depends.
Yeah, and that's why they want to have this whole idea of one AAA game dropped in Game Pass a month, which I'm like, hey, more power to you. Good luck. I don't think that's possible. But, I mean, and it's not just, I know they're not thinking just first-party games, but making deals for third-party games as well. So, like, so I'm pretty sure in that kind of mentality, they're thinking of, well, we got November already on lock because we got Halo Infinite going in and we got Destiny going in. But what about December? What about January? What about February? Like, that's where, like, they really, like, well, all these new studios they purchase in, they're trying to get more, that this whole idea can't be fully realized, whether it's going to be a success or an abject failure until like years in the future.
I agree.
Where you now have your studios on like they are now ingrained in the cycle of making games and having them ready to go 3-4 years after they went into pre-production, and then you can kind of see what's our content loop like when you finally stop purchasing studios and say, I think we got enough studios now. We're up at like 25 studios. I think that's it. I think we're good. And then you start to see that content coming out. Is it working or not? And the crazy thing is that the amount of money they're spending on this like the kind of money, the numbers I hear about what they are giving developers up front in order to get their games into Game Pass. Like, it's people always like, man, support those developers. Those developers are fine.
They're doing fine.
They're not dummies. They didn't put their game in Game Pass for free. They got paid whatever. They sat down with Microsoft and they figured out whatever number that they were supposed to get within the term period of that game being in Game Pass. Microsoft paid them that money up front.
Slow-mo, you are absolutely preaching to the choir because I agree with everything you said. And as Luca and Forte were saying earlier with Destiny, do you know that everybody that's in that Destiny community was already had their $70 or their $40 or their $50 in their hand? And you know that if Microsoft's doing that, do you know right now at Bungie Studios, you guys don't know this, but they traded in their pellet stove, right? They're not using pellet stoves anymore for heat. They're using $100 bills. Because they got tired of making
burning money.
So my point being is that they are fine. They're making a boatload of cash right now off of Microsoft. Now, like you said, and Slow-mo made an outstanding point. I said it a while ago, but Slow-mo, thank you for reiterating it. They are going. It's this Game Pass. We'll call it like trial is going to take years to find out if it worked or not. Because right now, Microsoft is doing what every good business does. You have to invest before you can reap the benefits, and Microsoft is investing, and that's a great thing for gamers to see. It's a great thing for all of us to see. So they're putting that money forward. Now, 2 years from now, the subscription base isn't where they wanted it to be. You're gonna see things happen, and if you don't believe me, I got one word for you guys: Mixer.
You're gonna see some people leaving. You're gonna see some. I decided to retire. I think it was about that time. Talk because whoever was heading this up, someone's gonna fall on their sword for it. And look, and considering that everyone keeps saying that the idea, the brainchild of this whole thing is from the CEO, he ain't gonna be the one that's gonna fall on his sword. He's gonna say, "You didn't implement my amazing idea well, so
You did not put it through right."
yeah, so I need to get someone else who can do it or get rid of this whole thing."
That's right.
So I mean, that's just the way it is. We won't see how it goes, for years from now. But like, that's the whole deal. Their whole deal is pushing Game Pass as hard as they can. Everything they said, every game they showed, hey, it's going to be in Game Pass day one. Hey, Game Pass day one. Remember what we said? Game Pass day one. It's going to be, you're going to go to sleep and you're going to be hearing those words in your head because they said it so many times. They want you to understand that so you can subscribe and you can forget that you even have it. That's what they hope, because there's a percentage of the population that does that. They subscribe to stuff, and then a year and a half later,
like a gym membership.
Yeah, a year and a half later, they look at their bank statement like, the hell is this $15?
It's exactly why. And
hey guys.
And the whole thing with mind, like doing that over and over again to get that baked into your mind is having the content creators, right? You've got all those content creators that they literally say Game Pass every other word. If you watch the Jeff Keighley pre-show, it was Halo Infinite, Game Pass, Halo Infinite, Halo Pass, Game Infinite. It went back and forth. Like, what the hell is going on here? Okay, what the hell commercial is this?
They're trying to mesmerize you.
They're trying to,
Where's the dumb soap guy? What's happening?
I'm surprised they didn't pull a watch out and just start swinging it in front of the screen. Just,
no kidding. I mean, it was
stirring a cup of tea, putting you in the shower.
Everyone's in a fucking place now.
The content creators are not great salespeople, because you can see they're almost reading off of a prompter. You know what I mean? They're like, I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait for Halo. Wait, don't move the cardboard cutout. Halo Infinite and Game Pass are going to be outstanding. It's like, I mean, it looks, you can see what's happening. You could just see the whole thing coming together. And it's because they're not actors, they're content creators. And it was just, it is what it is.
Yeah, we're gonna quick, guys. I gotta get some super chats here. Everboard Saga with $5 super chat says, "I'm with Forte." They said from the rip for the first 1 to 2 years, first party will be cross-gen. Actually, Phil's walked that back. He said it's up to the developers. They're not mandating that. If these games come out 1 or 2 years after launch, that's true. Again, Phil did come out after that and said they're not mandating cross-gen. That's per Phil Spencer.
When did he actually say that though?
Xbox One from Avowed's website.
Oh, they did remove it?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. He said that just recently, like I forget what article, man. If you Google it, you can pull it up. He says they're not mandating that it's up to, and actually that's what Aaron Greenberg said too, that it's up to the developers.
Yeah, I'm with it, just for the simple fact that, look, man, people go on Twitter, and what do you expect? These companies are out here listening to what these people are saying, and everybody's up here saying, well, I don't want to buy a $500 box and not get any benefits of that box or anything like that. So it's like, it's kind of like, what do we really want? That's why I always go back to that whole conversation, like, buy the system or buy whatever you buy based on what you want. Don't, because it seems like a lot of people just want to be a part of the now crowd. It's like, I want to say I bought the Xbox Series X on day one.
Exactly.
Just so I can say I bought it. Like, why are you, like, if there's nothing there for you to buy day one, why buy the system? And that's the thing that keeps, it's crazy to me
Forte,
that like that, but that's literally what's happening here.
Forte, I got to ask you a question though.
You're buying it.
Forte, I got to ask you a question, and there's no better person to ask than you. You know this. The reason that I feel, okay, because that's an outstanding point you just said. I don't truly feel like I need a Series X day one. I mean, I have the PC rig that I built. I know I can play all my games that I want to play. I play Halo Infinite in its finest fashion. I have 2 Xbox One X's. But here's my reason for trading it in. Is your company, and I'm a big fan of GameStop, by the way, is that I feel that I'm going to get my best trade-in value for my Xbox One X to move up on day one. I feel that way. If I'm wrong, let me know, please, because I'll wait. That's also part of my value, because if you're going to give me $250,
part of the reason why you're doing it. See,
absolutely,
that's part. But see, that's the thing, though. Like, to me, I'm looking at the situation like, why are you buying something? Are you buying it because they offered you something that is that's tangible, that's on that system that you want?
I'm
Or are
buying.
you doing it for other reasons?
I'm
Like,
buying it because your company's going to give me $250 for my old one.
Listen, I literally traded in all my S's when the X came out. I have no S's in my house. I upgraded everything to
Me
X.
too. I did too.
For that simple fact that you just said, was it feasible to have to do it? No, but I
No.
looked at it like I'll give them an extra $100, $150
Yeah.
now because I'm going to get the benefits of a better system. On top, trade-in value is going to be better
That's
later
what
on.
hear me out. And
I'm
I'm using
100% with you on that, and that is a good reason
Yes.
why you want to update day one. But you can't. But that's completely a different conversation from the system not having something game wise that day that you want. You're buying
listen,
it because of
at
the
the end
fact
of the
that
day,
it's a
Forte.
for the sale.
But Forte, me and you've had this discussion again on Crossfire week in and week out. A lot of times it comes down to the dollar, right? So
Yes.
my point being is this. Right now, I'm using fake numbers, by the way, folks. If we're talking about a $499 Xbox Series X, and let's say GameStop gives me $250, I currently have 2 Xbox One X's in my home. If I trade them both in and I get $500, I'm essentially going to pay $500 for 2 Xbox Series X's.
Absolutely.
Listen, to me personally,
That's a
a
deal.
that's a no-brainer.
That's
Because
a deal.
I'm getting the best of the best as far as technology. I've also got the most valuable trade-in in my home again for any time I want to upgrade. So my point being is so when someone says to me, well, Mooch, you keep saying this, so why are you upgrading? I'm like, very simple. It's called Moochonomics. Okay, this is where it comes, right?
Gotta get the trading while the trading value is hot.
If Forte's giving me, and when I say Forte, I mean his company, if you're going to give me $250 respectively, that's a no-brainer to go get an Xbox Series X for $250. Who wouldn't? Why would you not upgrade after 7 years of old hardware to new hardware for $250?
Yeah.
I mean, in the world we're in, it's a no-brainer.
I'm with you.
Hey, real quick, guys, I got to get some more super chats
Go
here.
ahead, go ahead.
Evan Board Saga with the $5 super chat. It says everything being said about Game Pass can be said about Netflix, and yet they still have over 150 million subscribers, and some still prefer Blu-ray. I know we get some more super chats here. Hold on, guys.
I would say when it comes to Netflix, they have way more content for
They
people
built
to
that
consume.
content over years.
They did, but they also in the beginning they took a lot of L's in the beginning with really lopsided licensing deals from Hollywood that didn't want them in business. They're also not very profitable right now.
Yeah,
they're not because they spend so much on productions to try. Like you'll see the same like premise of a TV show 5 different times in Netflix.
You actually will.
Yeah, and you're just like,
are we seeing that?
Watch this?
Yeah, they need to hire like a curator, honestly. Like,
are we going to see that right now?
They do that because they want you.
Stock right now, though. Buy the Netflix stock right now, man. It's going to be real valuable pretty soon. So buy that Netflix stock right now.
But you got some inside. You got some inside knowledge there, B Money.
Inside trading.
I'm just saying, man. My name ain't
can't say that.
No reason.
Okay, we have to
all
talk.
I'm saying is, like, they do that because they want something to blow, like House of Cards, like what's the '80s show? I can't remember his name with the kids. What's that? Stranger Things. Yeah, because when those shows blow, they make all the other failed shows that they financed worth.
It's true,
because people stay on for that, and then people even say, once that next season of Stranger Things comes out and I finish it, I'm gonna cancel, but they don't because then they see that the next season's coming, and then they go ahead and stay on.
That's how they watch other Netflix originals. You know what I mean? Because that is a Netflix original. So once you're done watching that show, then all those other shows pop up. So people start to, scroll through all that stuff, and they'll typically find something that they'll enjoy or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Continues.
But and Game Pass doesn't have that kind of catalog right now.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I gotta get this other super chat, JD Gamer. By the way, guys, I'm gonna drop a little Xbox in celebration of today's Xbox game showcase. I'm gonna drop a little Xbox $25 digital gift card code, whatever you want to call it, in the live chat here. So keep an eye out for that. But I do want to get JD Gamer's super chat here with a $10 super chat. Thank you, JD Gamer says, us hardcore only represent 15% of the market. Casuals control the market, and Game Pass is for them. And let's not watch Microsoft's pockets, but they've announced that Game Pass is already profitable right now. Thank you for the super chat, sir. let's see. One Bad Mother with a $5 super chat says Sony and Microsoft offering different values. Neither is for everyone, but appreciate both. Diverse game with diverse taste, embrace diverse industry. And then we have another super chat from Wraith the Emperor. The $5 super chat says just got here. Going to the beginning to listen. I'll give the showcase 6 out of 10 for trying.
I like the for trying.
That's funny.
For trying.
It's like the SATs. You get 400 points just for writing.
Yeah, just for writing your name.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I got my name right. Yeah,
Spell
exactly.
it correctly.
Exactly. So, well, look, guys. Look, I'll say this. Just kind of you wrap up the show here. If I had to rate the show, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. Again, not a bad show, good show, not a great show, but a good show. And I'm looking forward to see what they're going to have in store for us next month, because apparently they're going to be showing us more games. So we'll see.
You're saying wait till August?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I'm saying wait again.
Wow, thanks, Brad.
Yeah. Wait till August. You got to temper expectations at times, Mooch. So anyhow. All right. Did anyone, by the way, get the I just dropped the
Yes, you know they going crazy right now.
Yeah, I'm saying yeah. I don't know if anyone saw it. I just dropped the digital code in there for the Xbox. It's a $25 Xbox gift card.
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
I can tell you right now, it's already been redeemed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Coach, did you redeem it?
It was not me, I promise. I resisted. It took a lot of resisting, trust me.
Hey, real quick, I am so sorry to interrupt, but I have class tomorrow, so I got to go.
Like I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out. She's like, I'm out. All right, Luca, thanks for stopping by again, though. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much for
Bye,
having me.
Luca.
Bye,
Bye,
Luca.
Luca.
I always love being on with my Italian Eminem. You know,
Love
you
my
already
Luca.
know what's up. Okay. Anyway, I'll see you boys later. And Team Xbox, baby.
Oh!
Please check out Scumcast on Saturdays, by the way.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, I don't know if anyone got it, but we'll see. Somebody let us know
got
if you redeemed it. Someone let us know, please. All right. No one said anything. Jesus.
Well, there is a delay.
That is true. There is a delay. This is true. All right, guys, real quick. Let's go down the ratings real quick. We'll start with you, Mooch. What would you rate this game, man, out of a scale of 10?
The show, you mean?
You mean the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I gave it, someone had asked me earlier on Twitter. I'll stick to my number. And the number may not hit some folks the right way, but I said a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay. All right. B Money.
I'm going 7 out of 10.
All right. Slimo Backslap.
I gave it. I'm gonna stick with a number I gave it earlier. I'm still gonna go with an 8 out of 10, and here's why. I gave it an 8 out of 10 because out of the things that people said that they needed to do, they did it. They just didn't do it well. So they showed Fable, but like it was barely anything. They barely talked about Hellblade. People wanted more from that. Everwild was there, but they really could have kept that. It's okay, but it wasn't like there was everything. Like they showed okay games and good games to show there. It was a good show, but literally zero wow factor to it. And that is the problem with the show. There was no wow factor, but it was still a good show.
Which is crazy at a show when you have Halo. You feel like there's like no
Too
wow
bad
factor.
Slow-Mo's in. Too bad Slow-Mo's in the career he's in, because he would have been my favorite teacher of all time. Mooch really got all the questions wrong. But he studied what I told him to, so I'm gonna go ahead and give him an 80.
Yeah.
Boy, Slow-Mo, I wish you were my teacher, buddy. That was great.
But look, I mean, I said I wanted to see Obsidian's RPG. They showed it. They showed some things. They showed they gave some Xbox gamers something to look forward to in the future. So, it's an 8 out of 10 for me. Yeah.
All right, awesome, man. Go to Eric Jackson. Eric Jackson? What did you score, man?
I'm somewhere between like a 7.5 and an 8, honestly, because they had Jack Black singing a Psychonaut song, so. So I give
full beard and everything.
Full beard.
Yeah, full beard. Yeah,
full beard and glasses.
No, because I kind of like agree with Slow-Mo on that. I mean, they showed They showed games, so ultimately there's something there that you can probably rock with, you know. But if again, man, I'm just like for all the different talks that we saw, like mic drops and this and this and that. I'm like, was it that? I don't know. And then, like I said, I know people want to compare shows, and I'm like, no, I'm holding this show to its own merit, you know. And
let me ask you something.
Yo,
would the show have been better if, you know, when they announced the Series X, right, and we saw the whole Hellblade thing?
mm-hmm.
What if the whole Hellblade thing wasn't there and it was placed in this show?
If they show what they showed up,
if they show what they showed today,
trailer,
yeah. So like,
as opposed to saying that they got a location dev.
No, he talking about if they would have showed Hellblade instead of showing it after they showed the console reveal and showed it at the Game Awards. If they would have showed it here instead,
no, absolutely. I think that would have been stronger, but you know,
oh yeah, that would have been a stronger statement. Like to
I mean, that would have been like a heavy hitter, the same way it was at the reveal.
But E just said it. Thank you, E. He's always the man of like wisdom. Like, if you take the Hellblade show that they presented at the Game Awards out, what do you have then?
You got the console that nobody expected, period. So that would have been a shock in itself.
Yeah, but B-Money, I got to be honest with you. We all knew we were getting consoles this year, right? Like, so that's not a shock.
I think it was the fact that they showed the console and then they showed you something
right.
that
was it. It was like, here's the console and you're getting what you said you wanted. We're giving it to you.
We're giving you something to show you what it's.
And then they showed up today and showed us nothing. They showed us a CGI trailer, and then they showed up today and showed us nothing. And they announced another game prior to the show.
Yeah.
Right or wrong?
Yeah, true. Yeah,
no, I mean,
did,
B, you're not wrong with saying that it would have been an outstanding statement if we saw that today. That's true, but I think it would have drained the energy coming from December.
No, they could have showed a highlight trailer just like they did.
Oh, absolutely, they could have.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you. That was the shocker. We didn't talk about that tonight, but that was the shocker that Ninja Theory didn't show anything. That's
a great point.
We didn't talk about that, but that's a big deal. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But
I mean, it almost sounds like they don't have anything yet.
I don't think they do, man. I was surprised that we
most
didn't
of the
see
games are
gameplay
3-4 years out.
Yeah, and to answer B's question, I honestly, again, and I see people out here again on Twitter saying like, you know, like Halo's going the way it should go, and this and I'm like, how can you even? Nobody can make any definitive statements on anything that they saw from Halo today, except for it looked decent enough. It looked like Halo, whatever. But how you can go 100 miles to the left or 100 miles to the right? I feel like I'm right down the middle. Like I need to see more. And I said that earlier on Twitter. I didn't expect to walk away saying that today. I thought today I would get the definitive answer: Halo's back, and this is what's up.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, guys. What
was your score?
Hey, go ahead, E.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5 for right now. I might change that later, but 7.5.
Okay,
cool.
Because I'm kind of annoyed about the Halo thing.
Yeah, real quick, guys. I want to say congratulations to Wraith the Emperor, who was able to claim the digital code. Thank you. He says I'll use it towards Apex Legends or Warzone. Woo!
Congratulations.
Love it. Congratulations, sir.
Congrats,
all right,
man.
Easton, 7.5 out of 10. And we'll go to Forte. Well, I know what Forte's score is, but go ahead, Forte.
No, you don't know my score is. My score earlier is completely different from what my score is because I actually sat back and thought about it. Like I'm not afraid. Like I'm very emotional driven when it comes to like stuff like that. And that Destiny reveal really. I told everybody that Destiny reveal added a point to the score of that show, and that's why I gave it a 9. But after going back and starting to grab footage and stuff of Halo and a bunch of the different games, and I'm with like E and B on this, it's like the Halo thing just kind of sticks to me a little bit because it just wasn't shown in the best light that it could. You know, we were looking at that game at a technical level versus like just taking it in and saying like, dog, this doesn't look good. You know, it's got some stuff that it needs to do. So I'm not dropping that much. I'm just not giving it the 9 that I was going with that like earlier. I'm dropping it to an 8 because I feel like I still think Bungie putting
good score
in Game Pass is a point by itself. But if that wasn't there, the show would be a 7 overall. I just want to see them. I just want to see them live up to the expectations of everything that they put out. And they did show us what we wanted them to show. The thing is, you can't say Xbox doesn't have games. They may not have games this November, but they got games coming out that people are going to want to play. So 7 for the show overall when it comes to everything that's just Xbox related. If I throw Destiny on top of it, it's an 8.
All right, awesome, man. All right, so I mean, I think everyone's pretty,
Hey,
pretty much
real quick. Let
Yeah.
me amend mine. I said 8. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go down to a 7.5, and here's why. Because I said 8 when I did the my initial feeling on it after the live stream, but then I thought what I saw from Halo was actually from an Xbox Series X. But then after finding out that was PC gameplay, and I still haven't seen Xbox Series X gameplay. Matter of fact, have we actually seen any Xbox Series X gameplay? Period.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
I
No.
don't think so.
And it comes out in 4 months. No. I think 7.5 is being kind at this point. So
Man,
I'm
that game looking like that. That
wow.
game looking that rough on PC builds too. That's pretty bad, bro.
Yeah.
Look at,
Pinnacle.
I shared in the DM what Drunk Cat just posted, and Al's pretty even, man. Al keeps
Al's-
it.
yeah, Al-
100.
Al's
Al keeps
even,
it
yeah.
100.
That's
So-
rough, yo. Is that the last? Wait, no, that's Red
no,
Dead 2.
that's Red Dead Redemption 2, and
Yeah.
he's got. That's what I'm saying. Like they didn't
The
show
draw
up. with Halo.
distance is so much better on the current gen game than it is on all this fog that they added for the draw distance in Halo Infinite.
No,
Yeah, now one is a finished game and the other one isn't.
that's true. It's a good point.
So it is hard to compare. But when you're dealing with like this is supposed to be on a
Next
PC,
gen.
it's supposed to be next gen, like
And a few months away.
should be at Red Dead's level or better. Like
It's a few months away, man.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, guys, I do have a couple more super chats to get. JD Gamer with the $5 super chat. He says, no tempering expectations needed. Today's show was a good show. And for those of you that liked the Sony showing, this one beats it hand down. Woo! Ah.
And we're not tempering expectations, JD.
Yeah.
We're telling you, like, no.
I think we all said it was a good show.
Yeah, it's a good show, but I didn't want to compare it to Sony's show because I wanted to just kind of compare to what Microsoft's done in the past. I think for a Microsoft show, this is probably their best showing, but I will say that if you're going to compare it to Sony, what Sony showed us last month, no, I don't think this
No,
beats it
see,
hands down.
I see. The thing is, I gave Sony show an 8 last time, and that was with a console reveal.
No,
So
I
it's like
gave it a 9.
See, okay, you gave it a 9. See,
Well,
I know
because
most
the-
people gave it like 8s and 8.5s, and
I had an
shout out-
8.5. Yeah, I mean,
shout out to the Iron Lords. Even Blaze was on there today, and he said he gave it a 8, and it was mostly because of the console reveal. So the console reveal really did spruce up that announcement a lot. But for me, both these shows were kind of on par, and I mean, I guess that kind of says a lot for Sony for them to have a console reveal on top of it, and it still lands at an 8. So
Well, I will say this. I disagree on par. I'll say this, at least with the showing from what Sony showed. When you look at like Ratchet and Clank and you look at Miles Morales, well, maybe not so Miles Morales, we didn't see so much of that. But you look at Demon Souls, you look at Ratchet and Clank, and then you look at that Horizon trailer, that to me screamed next gen.
yeah.
That's why I wouldn't say that if I'm comparing the two shows, I didn't want to compare them because
I'm also looking at the timed exclusives. Deathloop, Godfall, and that other game, right? Versus the Medium and Scorn. Come on. Like it's there's just you also have to look at the acquisitions that you have, the different groups, right? Sony goes out and gets Insomniac Games. I mean, like, and then you look at Microsoft's group that they got. Obsidian's the best that they got, right? Them and Playground, I think, were the best that they got. And Playground's like they're gonna be 3-4 years out for Fable. It's gonna be a while for Fable. And Obsidian is their saving grace. Obsidian, I bow to them. That's awesome, man. They're a great pickup. I don't have one negative thing to say about Obsidian. That is an outstanding pickup.
Oh, absolutely.
But you look at it. Microsoft goes and picks up how many? 7, 8 new studios, and Sony picks up one. And that one trumps almost all of them, except for Obsidian. You guess you can go head to head. I'm just saying, like, and you also have Insomniac comes out with 2 games at the beginning of the generation, right? In Ratchet and Clank and Miles Morales. What a pickup! I mean, literally, that's like when your favorite baseball team picks up that hitter, and you're like, oh my god!
You mean like the Yankees?
Immediately puts you into the playoffs. That's Insomniac Games. That was the pickup of the generation. Microsoft picked up a lot of things like Slow-Mo was saying. They picked up a lot of teams that are going to be able to put out those AA games, AA quality. It could be a AAA budget, but like that AA quality game that's just boom, 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 month after month, game after game after game. You have to understand when you're a diner and you're pumping out eggs and steak, your steaks, steak and eggs, and you got an eggs Benedict. You got everything on the plate. You have French toast being served right next to a rare New York strip. It ain't the same as going to a steakhouse. It's not. So they're just trying to pump out those. And that's why a lot of these devs that they picked up are going to be pumping out quick games, and that's fine. That's what Microsoft wants. Guess what? They got it, and good for them. Those are great pickups. But Insomniac, man, absolutely. When they took them. Ted Price was very clear earlier in this generation when he's like, "We're not for sale. We want to be, we want to be independent." Well, apparently, they didn't. And so
there's always a number.
Well, there's always a number, but I got to be honest with you. I thought they got bought pretty cheap. I thought that was a steal for Sony.
Yeah,
Oh, definitely.
it was
They're making it.
They used the money they made off of Spider-Man to acquire that purchase. That was a major.
Yeah, but you got to remember,
that's true.
As much as you're right. If it's just a simple fact that they bought them on the cheap, but the IP that they are working on isn't their IP. So it's not like they can just take that IP and do whatever they want to do with it later on. That's tied to Sony. So it's
that's true. I don't think Insomniac had a lot of IPs under their belt because the IPs are what you really drive up prices. So.
So whatever their evaluation was, that it obviously was fair, or maybe even more than fair to Insomniac.
It definitely was, because I just
Insomniac only owed the only IP that I'm aware of they owned was the one they did for the Xbox, Sunset Overdrive,
Sunset Overdrive and Fuse,
Song of the Deep,
Infuse, it's Song of the Deep, Song of the Deep, yes.
Yeah, so that's why I think that, the price seemed like it was a bargain, but when the biggest game for PlayStation this generation and this country is Spider-Man, you really don't have that much leverage, especially if you want to make another one.
Yeah. I got another super chat from JD Gamer. Thank you, sir, with the $10 super chat. It says, nothing was missing. Racing, first-person shooters, action, adventure, platformer, mature games, and it was all there. A better showing for the velocity architecture in the medium than Sony's SSD with Ratchet and Clank. 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
I think they're both.
I respect JD's opinion on that. I don't think he's wrong. I mean, if he thought the show was an 8 out of 10, I just thought it was a lot like Slow-Mo said. I think that they did what they were supposed to do, but I think how they presented it wasn't necessarily the best sales pitch. And I don't understand why Microsoft can't get a team in there to present their games a little bit better. And also, the other thing is and this is part of my whole explanation when I've been saying this for years now about getting better leadership. Like myself personally, if you put me in charge in 2014, I'm just joking with me. I don't have the right to be there, but I'm saying, like, at the same time, like I would say to 343 guys, you do have to realize this is our last shot, right? Like, you guys have to put something out there, and it has to be it has to be mind blowing. It can't be good. It has to be great. And I would do my whole thing. I would literally pound the table and say, great. Okay. Like, I mean, great. I don't mean okay. And I'm sorry, Halo Infinite, in the clip we saw, I'm not saying throughout the rest of whatever they're going to create over the years, but I'm saying from what we saw, that wasn't stellar. It just wasn't. It was, it looked like, what it looked like? It looked like the Halo we have at home already,
not for one of your biggest franchises.
Not your big, 600 employees, $500 million rumored. No, I didn't see it.
Like Gears 5 showed better.
It's like if the new Avengers game ended up coming out and looking like the new an X-Men movie, right? It's not what? What do you?
Yeah.
What? Like,
take
Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Did that look like X-Men Apocalypse? No.
If that's the thing, it's like, I know, people can say what they want, but if that didn't have the name Halo attached to it, people would have been going in on what they showed. On that in particular, if that was like some other game, like some new whatever, they'd have been like, oh, it looked okay.
Yeah.
But it has the Halo name on it. It has Chief in it. So immediately people are like, they're definitely going to give it more. But
I think
but I'm sorry. This is the thing too. We've been saying for how long now, since Halo 4, it's like 343 needs to put their stamp on this. Maybe they will. Maybe that's coming.
I didn't see that today.
But again, I know people say, well, give it time. We're back in the wait thing again, or wait to the next. No, today was that day.
This was a rollout. They've been teasing us with all the trailers. You know what I mean? Getting us all hyped up. This was their time to come out and put their stamp on it. And it wasn't a good stamp. The ink didn't settle well.
I just feel like they hit the show kind of on a thud a little bit. Even knowing they did show Fable, I know when me and Slow-Mo was streaming, he asked me the question before the show, and he's like, what ends the show, what starts the show, and the one thing I brung up was if Fable ends the show, it can't just be a splash screen with a logo. It can't be. I said you can't end the show that way. It has to be something substantial. If you're going to do that, then put it in the middle of the show. And unfortunately, that's what they did. So it was like the thing that you want to remember the most and the thing that everybody knew was kind of the worst kept secret ever. You unveiled it to everybody in the worst possible light you could. You couldn't even have an NPC walk across the screen or a valley or something just to show off a little bit of the graphical fidelity of what the characters could look like in game. I think that was a hard miss.
Yeah, and then they to touch on what Forte is saying. Now they've left it open to all kinds of speculation that whether it's true or not, still
MMO
put
stuff,
everything all the MMO talk. Now, what if it's not an MMO, but people are out here thinking, "Hey, it's going to be an MMO."
That's that Spider-Man energy right there.
Sounds very familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But they left the door open, and
there's go ahead.
At least with Spider-Man, you knew what the gameplay was because you played the previous game, so you knew how the game played. So all that was like people going with the, "Hey man, it's going to be 30 frames per second. It's going to be 30 frames per second though." And then, all right, well, okay, it's 60, but still ain't gonna be 4K 60. Ain't gonna be 4K 60. Now it's gonna be more. Stop moving the goalposts here.
It's gonna be 4K or 60.
It's gotta be either or.
Oh my God,
it can't be both.
Conversation I've had this week.
Yeah, but it's interesting you bring that up, Slobo, about like that or like the guessing game of what this game is, and we know what Spider-Man is. We don't know what what Halo Infinite is. We don't know what Halo Infinite is. It could be like an MMO like type game because they're saying that this is going to be a game that's drawn out. I think Mooch brought up like World of Warcraft earlier, so there's a lot of unknowns that we don't know here. The other thing too, guys, before we wrap the show, there's that rumor now that the new Fable might be an MMO like game.
Hey man, if it happens, just I told y'all so.
I mean, you did say that a long time ago. I remember that.
Well, that's Game Pass.
That's Game Pass.
It is Game Pass. Yeah.
So like that's the thing. That's why I started the show tonight saying that these companies are, the one thing Phil said that was 100% factual. They are going in two different directions. And like he said earlier, we'll find out who's really going to make out here, because to be honest with you, Sony's staying traditional. And you know what? The old, if it's not broke, don't fix it. The Last of Us 2 broke records. Ghost of Tsushima is breaking different records. So apparently the old still works, and that's the thing. I mean, that's what it comes down to. In-depth games that cater to certain personalities and playing structures. And Sony's got they've got a first-person studio for you. The question is, does Xbox have a first-person studio for you? And I don't know, because the games that we saw, they're intriguing. Shout out to JD Gamer, who's, I respect JD a lot. JD made some great points, and I think that there's certain things that have my interest peaked, but at the same time, until I see more of these games, I can't say that I'm in love with them. I could say like Avowed looks fantastic from what I saw, but we didn't see any gameplay. We didn't see a UI or a HUD or anything or a story. It's a placeholder at this point, and that's fine. Yeah. But I mean, at that point, it is what it is.
It's interesting, Mooch. You bring up an interesting point about kind of like you like what you saw, but you're kind of maybe on the fence a little bit. I feel the same way. And even with that being said, like I'm actually looking a little bit more forward to the PlayStation 5 right now. And that's not to say that Xbox sucks. I know people are going to assume that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying me personally, based on what I've seen so far and the messaging Sony's putting forth about creating a new experiences for gamers. Mark Cerny's been big about, if you remember that teardown of the PlayStation 5, where he talked about, changing the way developers design games for new experiences. That's the kind of stuff that excites me. And then on top of that, based on what I saw from their event last month, and I keep thinking about Horizon. We keep thinking about these big franchises. Like you have that one chance to really give that first impression, right? Which is a lasting impression. And you look what they did with Horizon. And then on this show, you guys remember we were pulling up the screenshots of Alloy in the water and different set pieces. We're all like, oh my God, look how great that looks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that speaks volumes. You know, that first impression matters so much. And I can't wait for that game. That game, what they showed with that game, and I look back at Horizon Zero Dawn, and I look at Horizon, I forget what it's called, Westlands. What's it called?
Forbidden West.
Forbidden West.
Yes, Forbidden West. You look at that trailer.
Game.
Yeah, you look at that trailer. It looked much better than like it said. Okay, this is next gen, without a doubt. So, anyhow, guys, I do want to wrap up the show. Great show this evening. Want to give a big shout out to the Ash and Luca who joined us for a little bit. And Mooch, man, hey,
Yeah.
always a pleasure having you on Brap, sir.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah,
Love being here. Love it. Great show.
It is great. Great conversation. As always. And I tell you what, I'm looking forward to what you guys have to say on Crossfire tomorrow night because it is going to be fire.
Oh, buddy, let me tell you something. Thank you for the segue. I appreciate that. We have got a star-studded lineup tomorrow, too. I've been putting this in the works. I had the great Jeff Grubb on last week. He made some bold statements, which were fantastic. It's also always great to have Jeff on the show. And then we've got two special guests tomorrow as well to do reactions from today's show. But I want to thank Brap and the panel for having me on tonight. Honestly, I love Brap because you guys really deep dive into subjects. You know what I mean? Like we literally spent an hour and 10 minutes on one subject, one part of the show. And that's what's great. That's when you know you have a great podcast, is when you can deep dive that much into one topic and get that in depth and get people's feelings wrapped into it. So, guys, thank you so much. It is the Mooch78. That's you know how to spell it and you know how to do it. It's on the same on YouTube, it's same on Twitch. We are going to be finishing up the path to platinum on Twitch. It's going to be fantastic. Nice. Hopefully for Bloodborne, we'll get that one done. And I should also have, I'm 2 trophies away from platinum on Bloodborne, and I'm 4 trophies away from platinum on The Last of Us 2. I can't wait. I want to finish those. We'll put those on video. We'll have that recorded. And dude, please check out.
Do the challenge dungeons? Or is that what you're working on?
That's what I'm working on right now. I've done 6 of 10.
Challenges, man.
They are a pain in the ass.
I'm like, thanks, guys, for locking the platinum to this.
You know, and thank you for saying that, E. That's what I said on my last stream on Twitch. I said, honestly, I had no problem with the game at all. I said, I feel like you kind of buried this one trophy into here for no good reason. I've loved the game all the way till now. This is just a tedious. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. It's just a nonstop maze. But nonetheless, we'll do it because they want us to do it. But guys, please do check me out on YouTube, the Mooch78. And Brap, thank you again for having me on the show. Thanks to the panel.
Absolutely, man. Well, like I said, looking forward to Crossfire tomorrow night. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, man, we're gonna get you back on again sometime soon.
Anytime, buddy.
Yeah, and we got to get some Warzone in for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to.
Please,
we have to. I think Blaze is dying. I think
he really is. He's miserable without us.
Yeah, he's actually been playing Death Stranding on PC.
Well, I'm enjoying that as well on PC, but that's a different story. That's a whole nother podcast.
Other podcast. Absolutely. All right. B Money 101B. Let everyone know where they can find you, sir.
Everywhere, same name, man. B Money 101. I appreciate everybody came through today. Great show, fellas, and we'll see you next week.
No doubt, man. And we have Forte 117. Forte, always a pleasure. Please let everyone know where they can find you, and please plug your YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, man. Gaming Forte, YouTube, Twitter. All those good places, even Xbox Live now. Shout out to you, man. 2,000 subscribers, man. Congratulations. You hit that milestone over the course of the week. Can't be more happier for you. Tomorrow's going to be a blast on the Crossfire. Can't wait to see exactly what Xbox is going to say about this show, because you know he's the biggest Halo fan ever. So
the Xbox defense lawyer. Absolutely.
He definitely is that. So that's going to be a fun time tomorrow. So make sure you check us out at 7:00 tomorrow on that. And man, it's been a great show, and can't wait to do it again next week.
Absolutely, man. And we also have mid-tier Eric Jackson. Eric, man, let me know they can find you, sir.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, EC Jackson with an X. And when I'm not here, you can find me on the Gaming Perspective Saturday nights at 8:00. So we roll.
All right, and we also have our resident brute here, Slow-Mo Backslap. By the way, Slow-Mo, these brute memes are getting out of control now.
Dude, they're all over right now, Twitter. I'm getting them like left and right in my DMs. I've never seen so many variations.
I just shared one of the Brap DM. It's probably the funniest one I've seen so far.
Brute is not happy with this. I am not happy with this. People are making fun of me. I did not do this. I did not make my face.
Yeah, why do you sound like
did it?
Why do you sound like Cookie Monster?
Like Jamaican Cookie Monster.
Jamaican Cookie Monster.
Oh man, yo, it's look, yeah. Some of y'all, look, it's funny. It's funny. Some of y'all gotta relax, man. It's like I don't understand why people so upset, yo. I'm looking at my timeline. It's either people laughing at that brute or there's people mad that people are laughing at that brute. And I'm just like, yo, it's hilarious. Just laugh, man. It looks terrible. Like it does. Just a minute. Like, why? Like, it's okay though. It's okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. But you know, the brute looks bad, man. You know, maybe he woke up on the wrong side. Racist said Jamaican Cookie Monster. I can't even talk straight right now. Like maybe like he didn't get much sleep last night and he just wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to perform. You know?
Yeah. I'm sorry, man.
Brute, what part of Jamaica you from? Right near the beach, boy. I'm done.
Oh my god, I'm done. Oh, I'm crazy. I'm done. Oh my god.
Back in my day, on original Xbox, I didn't get slandered like this.
Oh my god.
New generation of gamers have no respect for us OG Halo characters.
Ryan Landon said it looks like
They
he
shaved
woke up
my
in
hair
a
off for this shit.
Oh my gosh, yo, it's
All right, so please plug your channel.
My hair fell out.
Oh,
Kobe.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Yo, check me out on Twitter, Slow-Mo Backslap. Although my name on Twitter looks like resting brute face right now, but the handle is Slow-Mo Backslap. My YouTube channel is Slow-Mo Backslap. Come check me out. I'm not making fun of Halo on my channel. I just talk about games, doesn't matter the platform, and I like to do deep dives on developers and stuff like that. So if you're into that, come check my channel out. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The internet is undefeated today. These brute memes.
The internet is
crazy right now.
I just tweeted out that like the character artist who designed the brutes in this game is not having a good day right now. like I'm pretty sure like a director was calling him up like, hey, don't go on Twitter for like, I don't know, like 2 years. To make these memes go away. But also, could you just completely redesign the brutes? Thanks. So, all right, I'm good. Great show tonight. It was a lot of fun. You know, a lot of fun picking on fanboys in the chat. And just, you know, good topics discussing, you know, the show and everything. Shout out to you guys in the chat. Shout out to the panel.
Yes, thank you in the live chat. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Luca who had to go early.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, you know what, guys? We will catch every one of you guys next week. Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be back to our regular scheduled time. Everyone, please have a great gaming weekend. Enjoy your time gaming, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.